Engineer Chinmoy Debnath, Chairman IEI Tripura State Center, Dr. Shoma Nag, Chairman Chemical Engineering Division, IEI Tripura State Center. Our special guest, Dr. PKP Rupa, Head Department of Material Science and Engineering, and Dr. Shubhadeep Bhattacharya, Honorary Secretary, IEI Tripura State Center. Sir, ma'am, please come on the dais and take your seats. Today, we are glad to have with us virtually our chief guest, Professor Dr. H.K. Sharma, FIE Director, NIT Agartala. Welcome you, sir. Professor Dr. Shilpa Tripathi, Chairman, Chemical Engineering Division, Board IEI. Welcome, ma'am. Engineer Vivi Singh, FIE Vice President, IEI. Engineer Naveen Chandra V. Vasoya, FIE Past President, IEI. Welcome, sir. So we are going to start our program by distributing a small memento. I would like to request Engineer Chinmoy Debnath, sir, to hand over the memento to Dr. P. Rupa, sir, and Engineer Uttara Mahapatra. I would like to invite Engineer Chinmoy Debnath, sir, to deliver few words to address the gathering.
Good afternoon. Respected Engineer Naveen Chandra B. Vasoya, First President of the Institution of Engineers, India. Professor Dr. Shilpa Tripathi, Chairman, Chemical Engineering Division Board, the Institution of Engineers, India. And Professor Dr. H.K. Sharma, Director, NIT Agartala, who will be on the online. And today we have with us Dr. PKP Rupa, Head Department of Material Science and Engineering, Tripura University, as a special guest. Dr. Shoma Nag, Chairman, Chemical Engineering Division of the Institution of Engineers, India, Tripura State Center. The Honorary Secretary, the moderator of today's program, the speakers, Engineer Santosh Dev Burma, Dr. Satin Valadare, Engineer Uttara Mahapatra, the participants, corporate members, fellow engineering students and faculty. On behalf of the Institution of Engineers, India, Tripura State Center, I take the privilege to welcome all of you in this one-day seminar on environment, health and safety, being organized in connection with the celebration of 32nd foundation of the Institution of Engineers, India, Tripura State Center, under the aegis of Chemical Engineering Division Board of the Institution of Engineers, India, and jointly with Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University, Department of Chemical Engineering, NIT Agartala, and Department of Bioengineering, NIT Agartala. In our today's program, we have with us Engineer Naveen Chandra B. Vasoya, who is past President of the Institution of Engineers, India, as esteemed guest, who is also Executive Council member of WFU. I would like to take the privilege to welcome you, sir, in this program. In spite of your busy schedule, you could manage some time to attend this program to convey your best wishes for our center. We know that your feeling for this center immensely benefited us to do our technical activity since long back. And we can recall that during your tenure as President of the Institution of Engineers India, our Tripura State Center was recognized and awarded as Best Center in C category state of the country in the Engineering Congress held at Chennai. So we are really thankful to you for your consideration for this center, and I believe that this center can work properly under your able guidance and suggestion in future days also. And in this connection, I would like to mention here that recently when we had our council meeting in Hyderabad, we got the record from the headquarters that at that moment, during this 2021-22 tenure, in regards to technical activity, the total number of technical activity of Tripura State Center was in 3rd position out of 125 centers in the country. During this period, in spite of this COVID pandemic, we could organize 65 numbers of technical activity in regards to our divisional activity as well as other seminar. So I believe in future days also, this center, though it is a small one, will continue our activity in a better way under your suggestion and advice in future. Today, Engineer Vivi Singh, Vice President of the Institution of Engineers India, was supposed to be present. In fact, just at around 2 o'clock, we got this information from him by mail that due to some illness, he cannot attend today's program, but convey his best wishes for our program. Engineer Professor Dr. Shilpa Tripathi, the Chairman of Chemical Engineering Division Board, who has given clearance to us to organize this program from Chemical Engineering Division in regards to one-day seminar on environment, health and safety. And I believe that after this deliberation, the recommendation will be framed and it will be useful for us. And after clearance getting from the Chemical Engineering Division, it will be placed to the authority concerned to implement accordingly. You welcome Shilpa Tripathi ma'am in this program. I welcome Dr. P.K.P. Rupa, Head Department of Material Science and Engineering, Tripura University, who is gracing this program as a special guest. We are looking forward for his kind support to organize our future technical activity, including the program to be taken up in Tripura University in future too. I welcome Dr. H.K. Sharma, FI Director, NIT Agartala. Due to some important assignment in the institute, he didn't came to this venue, but he told us that if it is possible, he will join in the online, and we hope that he will be joining with us during this progress of this program. In this technical seminar, we have 3 presenters: Engineer Santosh Deborma, Senior Scientist and Assistant Professor, Faculty of Engineering Science, Mineral Processing Department, CSIR, Bhubaneswar, who will be speaking on sustainable utilization of mineral and metallurgical waste, a waste to wealth strategy. Second presentation by Dr. Satin Valadare, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University, on the topic Bio-Based and Biodegradable Polymers and their environmental impacts. And third presentation by Engineer Uttara Mahapatra, who will be making presentation here in this hall, the research scholar, Department of Chemical Engineering, NIT Agartala, on the topic application of natural rubber industry / towards heavy metal and dye removal from the aqueous environment. I welcome all the 3 speakers, and I believe that after the presentation made by them, there will be a good interaction by the participants who are in this hall as well as who are participating in online. The main role has been taken up by Dr. Shoma Nag, the Chairman of Chemical Engineering Division of our center. I welcome you, Madam. Also, our Honorary Secretary, Dr. Shubhodhi Bhattaji, the moderator, Dr. Mriganka Shekhar Manna, Assistant Professor, Chemical Engineering Division, NIT Agartala, will be moderating the program and will be summing up the program, and there will be recommendation from this seminar. And the program will be coordinated by Engineer Oritrika Shah, MTech student of NIT Agartala. I welcome both of you, and also I welcome the participants and students, faculty who are present here and also joining in this program in online. So far our center is concerned, the center was established in 1989 in ad hoc shape. In 1991, we got the recognition by the headquarter, and 2008, it has been upgraded to Tripura State Center. During these 32 years, we had organized so many programs on that is national, international, and state importance, and we got appreciation from every corner. Even we are conducting seminar jointly with Bangladesh, Nepal also. The two unique things we have introduced out of this Institution of Engineers activity. One thing, joint venture program with other centers of the country, as well the Nepal Institute of Engineers, the Bangladesh Institute of Engineers, and another one is Saturday seminar. Every Saturday we are organizing seminar of depending on this division, and that is, it means in bi-monthly the each of the engineering division are conducting seminar, and in that program it is mandatory to have the presentation from one faculty or practicing engineer, another one from the students. And I am really happy to inform you that from this seminar we are selecting the engineering students to make presentation outside the state as well as outside the country also. And the first presentation by one engineering student from our state in the international program was made by one student of NIT Agartala, particularly belong to this chemical engineering division department. I cannot recall the name. Maybe in 2016-17, one student of chemical engineering department of NIT Agartala made presentation in Bangladesh in one international seminar. So in this way, we are encouraging our engineering students who are studying in our state in various technical institute to make presentation as well as to represent our state in the national or international program. So the Tripura State Center, after this formation, we are conducting technical activity in this way, and also we are concerned about the development of our state. As and when we are organizing program, maybe national, international level, with the support of other centers in the country as well as outside country, we are submitting this recommendation to the government for implementation. And in this way, we can say that the engineers of the country, maybe outside of the country, are supporting us to do the developmental activity in our state. So government of Tripura is getting support from the engineers of the country and outside also through the Institution of Engineers India. So we are concerned about this thing and we are continuing, and I hope in future days also the center may continue in this way, for which we are getting support from all the division, including chemical engineering division. And I hope Dr. Shumanag, as chairman of this division, will do this sorts of activity in future day also. This time, along with this 32nd Foundation Day, we are conducting one-day seminar of all 5 division, that is in 7 days program. And we have a plan to organize next time, there is All India seminar in the month of July, August by each of the 5 division in hybrid mode. So in this way, I hope the way we are organizing this program, it is appreciated by all, and we may get such type of appreciation if we continue this activity with the support of you all. I once again welcome all of you in this one-day seminar. Today is the last day. After this seminar, there will be closing ceremony when the Executive Director of ONGC will be gracing as chief guest, and Director of Higher Education will be gracing as guest of honor. And in this program, recommendation of the all 5 seminars will be presented by Engineer R.K. Mojumdar, our chairman of technical committee. Though as per provision, the recommendation, final recommendation is to be framed by our headquarters through our divisional committee. So we are sending, we shall send this recommendation part, draft recommendation, to the headquarters for acceptance and consideration, and after that it will be sent to the concerned authority for due implementation. So with this, I once again convey thanks to all and welcoming you. I hope today's seminar will be a lively one with the presentation of the speaker as well as participation of all of you in the interactive session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Now I'd like to invite Dr. Shomanag ma'am to address this auspicious.
A very good afternoon to one and all present here. Respected Dr. H.K. Sharma, Director of National Institute of Technology, Agartala, and the chief guest of today's program, Dr. P.K. Pirupa, Head of the Department of Material Science and Engineering, Tripura University, special guest of the program, Engineer N.K. Bhaswa, past President of the Institution of Engineers, India, Mr. Vivi Singh, Vice President of the Institution of Engineers, Professor Dr. Shilpa Tripathi, Chairman of the Chemical Engineering Division Board of the Institution of Engineers, Engineer Chinmoy Devnath, Chairman of the State Center, Dr. Shubhodhi Bhattacharjee, Honorary Secretary of the State Center, II, and today's panelists, other members and dignitaries of the Institution of Engineers, students, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the Chemical Engineering Division, Tripura State Center, I feel extremely honored to welcome you all who are present here in this hall and also on the virtual mode, and also those who could not present here due to their sudden preoccupations. I welcome you all in this one-day seminar of the Chemical Engineering Division, including Textile, Metallurgical, and Material Science of Engineering of the Institution of Engineers, Tripura State Center, in connection with the celebration of the 32nd Foundation Day of the State Center. As just now the chairman was saying that, president was saying that Chemical Engineering Division is organizing bi-monthly seminar on a regular basis, and today's program is organized in addition to that under the aegis of Chemical Engineering Division Board of IEI to celebrate the Foundation Day of the State Center. The theme of today's seminar is Environment, Health, and Safety. As you know, environment health is concerned with all aspects of natural and built environments that affect the health of individuals and population in general. Clean air, water, food, and plants are essential for our personal health and well-being. The relationship between the environment and humanity is one of the interdependence. Each affects the other. Therefore, just our actions and choices affect the environment. The health of the planet influences our own personal health and well-being. Improving the quality of environment in the key areas such as air, water, and noise can prevent diseases and improve human health. Air pollution is the single largest environmental health risk and is associated with heart disease, stroke, lung cancer, and many more. Similarly, wastewater treatment is essential to protect the humans and the ecosystem from the harmful and toxic chemicals. Under this backdrop, today's seminar will highlight on the waste management system in steel industry, biodegradable polymers and their environmental impacts, and also how the waste from rubber industry, known as the rubber industry sludge, can be useful in wastewater treatment. This seminar will provide an opportunity to hear from the professionals, academicians, researchers on the theme of the current scientific importance. I hope that the students, staff and faculty, practicing professionals working in the environment and occupational health field would be benefited from today's discussion. I also request the participants to ask questions to clear up their doubts from the experts who are present here today on virtual mode mostly, and also here in one lecture we have in offline mode. On behalf of the institution, I offer my regards to all the expert speakers and the people joining us. Thank you all, and I wish the success of this program. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I would like to invite Engineer Bibhav Kumar Loth, Organizing Secretary, sir, for addressing our guest of honor.
Good afternoon, one and all present here physically, and also those who are present virtually online. It is a great privilege for me to introduce the eminent guests and speakers invited in this seminar before the August participants. Now, before I introduce, I want to have 2 or 3 things based on this seminar, because it is written as environment and health. Today is, I think, April 7th, and first week of April, the temperature outside is 35 degrees. And in my phone, it is showing, looks like 43 degrees. So at this particular juncture, this is probably the best topic which can be fitted for this seminar. So in this seminar, we have Engineer Naveen Chandra Vivesha, who has acted as a past president of IEI as a chemical engineer from Gujarat University. I welcome him. His involvement with the institution has been for more than 2 decades. He is an elected member in the Executive Council of WFEO, also member of Executive Committee of FIESCA. He is involved in many professional societies of the country and abroad. His involvement in social service has been a praiseworthy for solving day-to-day problems of village in Saurashtra region of Gujarat. He has presented a large number of papers in national and international level. He led number of delegations of IEI to attend national and international meetings, seminar. At present, he is acting as a chairman of a company based on infrastructure and industrial development. Our next guest, Engineer Vivi Singh, is the Vice President of IEI, who is graduated from University of Roorkee, and subsequently he completed post-graduation in Diploma in Public Administration and LLB from Lucknow University. He served UP Power Corporation for quite a long time and elevated to Chief Engineer. He has actively involved in institution activities, including his different terms in UP State Center of IEI. He is the past chairman of IEI Uttar Pradesh State Center. He has been a member of Bureau of Indian Standards, Roorkee University Senate, and other prestigious body. Dr. Professor Shilpa Tripathi did her Bachelor of Engineering in Chemical Engineering from NIT Raipur, securing 4th position in the university, and MTech in Environmental Management from Ujjain Engineering College, securing 1st position of gold medal in Rajiv Gandhi Pradyogiki Vishwavidyalaya Bhopal. She has a long experience of working in industries and academic institution of about 28 years. She has published and presented number of research papers in national and international journals and conferences. Her current areas of research are environmental engineering, reaction kinetics, and biokinetic modeling in chemical engineering. She is the chairman of Chemical Engineering Division Board for the present session of 22-23. At present, she is acting as a professor in Medicaps University in Madhya Pradesh. Our next guest of honor was Dr. Harish Kumar Sharma. Unfortunately, he is not present physically. Maybe he will join virtually online mode. He is a chemical engineer by profession. He has published more than 180 papers in national and international journals and proceedings. He has supervised 12 PhD scholars and 37 MTech students, and authored, edited 8 books and 2 manuals, which were published by the reputed national and international publishing houses. He represented the country in Israel, Canada, China, Switzerland, Thailand, Germany, France, Singapore, Malaysia, New Zealand, Australia, etc. in different programs. He has successfully transferred a technology on the commercial scale. He has also involved in organizing different research courses and conferences at the national level. He has also served as a referee and editorial board member to different national and international journals. He was honored with many prestigious awards for his high contribution in academics area. At present, he is acting as the director of NIT Agartala. Dr. PKP Rupa, I welcome you, sir, completed his MTech in Material Science from NIT Trichy and PhD from Jadavpur University. He was scientist in National Metallurgical Laboratory, Jamshedpur for 3 years and served as project engineer and senior scientist, Non-Ferrous Materials Technology Development Center, Hyderabad for a period of 10 years. He has published 14 papers in international journals. Presently, he is working as associate professor and head of the Department of Material Science and Engineering in Tripura University. Next, we have the speakers. So the first speaker we have, Engineer Santosh Debbarma. He is a senior scientist and assistant professor, Faculty of Engineering Science, Mineral Processing Department, CSIR Institute of Minerals and Materials Technology, Bhubaneswar. His area of interest in sonochemical processing of coal and minerals, process intensification by cavitation technique, beneficiation of coal and low-grade ores, processing of mining, mineral and industrial wastes for value-added products, chemical leaching and solvent extraction of ores and minerals, nanomineralogy of coal, etc. He was awarded Research Ratna Award in the year 2019 for Best Researcher in Clean Coal Technology and Scotch Order of Merit Award in 2017 for process development for production of flaky graphite and high purity graphite. Our next presenter, Dr. Satin Valadare, is an assistant professor in the Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University. He did his postdoctoral research in polymer science and engineering in the University of Massachusetts, USA. His area of interest are in polymer synthesis, hydrogel and nanogels, and also polymer composites, drug delivery systems, organic solar cells, semiconductors, etc. Our third presenter is a research scholar from NIT Agartala, Mrs. Uttara Mahapatra. She was a guest faculty in Nagaland University from 2013 to 2016. Her area of interest is with adsorption, water and wastewater treatment and bioremediation, etc. So these are the introduction of our special guest and speaker, and I also welcome all the participants who are present physically as well as virtually, and I hope this program will have a great success. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. I kindly request Dr. Shilpa Tripathi, ma'am, to say few words. Ma'am has joined us virtually.
Thank you. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Good.
Thank you. Honorable President, Institution of Engineers, Dr. Thakre, Shri Basoya ji, past President, Institution of Engineers, my mentor and my guide. So good to see you, sir. Dr. Ranganath, Chairman of KATE, Engineer Chinmay Devnath ji, the Chairman of Institution of Engineers, Tripura State Center, Dr. Bhattacharya, the Honorary Secretary of this center, today's eminent panelist, Engineer Santosh Devji, Dr. Satin Valadare, Ms. Uttara Mahapatra, and definitely our moderator, Dr. Manna, and all the dear participants. A very warm good afternoon to one and all. First of all, I would like to thank you for inviting me in this technical webinar. And I'm really delighted to be the part of this special occasion of Foundation Week celebration of Tripura State Center. So first of all, I would congratulate the Chairman and Honorary Secretary for this special day and for being very active at this national level. Here I would like to quote, I frequently see the programs and activities of this very small center of very small state of India, and definitely this credit goes to the Chairman and Honorary Secretary for bringing this Tripura State Center on the national portal. I've seen all the 6 days activities on different themes, And I'm sure many of our fellow members must have taken the advantage of getting acquaintance with the latest technological changes of their domain. If I talk about today's theme, it is really very much interesting, and I'm really feeling very much connected as I started my career as faculty in Department of Fire Technology and Safety Engineering. So long back, I could make out that this particular stream will going to be the need of the hour in future, and yes, it happened. At present, the environment, health, and safety, what we call as EHS or SHE, that is SHE, would be the matter of concern not only for the industrialists but for all of us. It is a small aspect of running industry, business, or even running a house. This is the issue which we cannot afford to take lightly. The industrial revolution started some year back in the 80s, and at that time the single-minded focus was on the industrial and economic growth, and this has affected the environment severely. And just because of the pollution and because of this depletion of these resources, we have lagged a lot, and all these conditions forced us to wake up and realize the importance of the environment, health, and safety. And I suppose immediately the Ministry of Labor and Environment prepared a framework and which guided the businesses on how to continue to grow along with the sustainable business processes, as well as making the workforce life safe. Being the part of this august body, I believe that we all are the main stakeholder. Our fellow members are from the industry, some are from the some of them are government officials, consultants, policymakers, and I believe with this capacity we all should ensure that all the laws, regulation, and workplace procedures all should be designed to protect the well-being of the workers, so that moral obligation as well as the legal obligation may be avoided. With the commitment towards this environment, health, and safety, it will also help in boosting the reputation of the company. It will create the sense of belongingness. It will improve the sense of security among all the staff and the workers. As an academician, I can say that there was the time when employees were looking at the package or the perks which they will get. Now the concern of all the potential employees are towards the health and safety provided by that particular company, and this plays a very important role. Presently, we all know that maximum job opportunities are in IT industries, and some of you must have seen the workplaces of the IT companies. Then you can imagine the role of EHS. All these IT companies are having the beautiful interior, vibrant colors, the vibrant walls. All the IT companies were having equipped with the gym facility, the food joint, restroom, flexi hours. So I can say this is the very beautiful example of the environment, health, and safety, and all these concerns shows the dedication of that particular company or organization towards their workforce. If I talk about the latest trends and technologies, many of the latest technologies are coming up, which are helping in this environment, health, and safety. If I quote about robotics is the area or the field in which workplace injuries and fatalities may be avoided using those robots. These robots are commonly used in warehouses in reducing the risk of ergonomics, injury. Material handling robots are there. Recently, I've seen a like I think yesterday or day before yesterday, where a robot in China, was making the announcement for all the, in this COVID situation to, it is basically, it is announcing the risk of COVID-19, this thing. So at the same time, drone is again a robot which is controlled by human, and it is used for surveying and inspection purpose in high-rise buildings. It can work at heights. Then again, one more example is sensors. These sensors can detect the nearby workers and automatically cut off the energy sources to reduce the risk of contact injury. Some of them are wearable sensors, which are again borne by the workers, and they can monitor the risk like fatigue, extreme temperature, presence of hazardous gases, and at the same time, we all know the information technologies and the computing techniques have touched all the walks of life. So hence is the environment, health, and safety area. Many of the softwares are there which can help and solve several problems related with the safety challenges. They can be used to help manage, store, initiate, and execute the environment, health, and safety related processes. Usually has safety management, risk management, incident management, compliance related functions. So all in all, these software helps users to see and mitigate the risk and hazards. Then a very upcoming technology is machine learning and artificial intelligence. So this analytics is again a type of technology that uses data to uncover the meaningful patterns and insights. All these are the software-based technologies and involve the processing of large amount of data quickly. If I quote a beautiful example of analytics safety techniques is the video facial analytics. It is the technology in which the video facial analytics recognize the given set of workers and pedestrian facial features to protect the workers against hazards. So all in all, there are n number of latest technologies are coming up. And these upcoming technologies can play a vital role in environment, health, and safety. So at this juncture, in spite of all such modern techniques, I believe human intervention will always be required. So if I talk about industries, the professionals and the working area should be inspected, the workplace should be properly maintained. The proper training must be given to all the workers, so that like safety trainings, so that safety trainings related with the personal protective equipments and all the tools must be properly maintained. So this applies to approximately all the industries. So I believe I'm very much confident that all these aspects will be covered by the eminent speakers of this session, and all the participants will take the full advantage out of it. On behalf of Chemical Engineering Division Board, Institution of Engineers, I thank you all for being the part of this wonderful program. I believe that this will certainly a thought-provoking session, which will lead to the effective collaborative engagement across the individual and organization. Thank you once again. All the best wishes. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words. Now I would like to request Engineer Naveen Chandra B. Basoya, sir, FIE, past President IEI, to address this gathering. Sir has joined us virtually.
Good afternoon to all. I'm audible? Shilpa ji?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So nice to see you after a long time, Shilpa ji.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Honorable Chief Guest of the occasion, Professor Dr. H.K. Sharma, Director, National Institute of Technology, Agartala. Special guest of the session, Dr. P.K.P. Rupa. Professor Dr. Madam Shilpa Tripathi, the Chairman of Chemical Engineering Division Board of the Institution of Engineers, India. Eminent panelist of the session, Engineer Santosh Dev Burma, Senior Scientist and Assistant Professor, Faculty of Engineering Science, Mineral Processing Department, CSIR, Institute of Mineral and Materials Technology, Bhubaneswar. Dr. Satin Valadare, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University. Madam Uttara Mahapatra, Research Scholar, Department of Chemical Engineering, NIT Agartala. And moderator of the session, Dr. Mriganka Shekhar Mana, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical Engineering. Dignitaries on the dais and of the dais. Chairman and Honorary Secretaries of Tripura State Center, IEI. Corporate members, students, ladies and gentlemen, along with the members in Chemical Division, Dr. Soma Nag, and all other committee members of Tripura State Center. As said by our Chairman, Chemical Engineering Division Board of IEI, that Tripura State Center is a small, Tripura State and State Center is a small center. Though Tripura State may be a small state, but now the Tripura State Center of IEI is not a small center now. It's a vibrant center. And I'm very much enthusiastic that to be here on this occasion with the member of Tripura State Center who are celebrating 32nd Foundation Day of Tripura State Center. And it's a week-long program covering various engineering divisions. So my congratulations to the organizers, particularly Devnathji, Honorary Secretary, and our fellow colleagues in chemical engineering once again. See, it's a momentous occasion indeed when Tripura State Center of the institution is celebrating such type of a program, and it's a 7 days program. In this occasion, I would say a few words that the efforts of the Institution of Engineers India has always been to keep its members informed and abreast about the latest engineering and technological developments occurring in national and international arena through organizing technical events on regular basis involving eminent professionals and practitioners. Over its last 100 years of existence, the institution has provided valuable suggestions and policy inputs to the policymakers, contributing to the national growth. During the deep pandemic situation with strictly imposed restrictions, technical webinars are being conducted by the institution on contemporary topics on regular basis, which provides a virtual knowledge sharing platform for our corporate members and the professionals attached to the domain. The Constitution of India provides detailed provisions for the rights of the citizens and lays down the directives, principles of state policy on the basis of which government is committed to regulate all economic activities for management of safety and health risks at workplaces and to provide measures so as to ensure safe and healthy working conditions for every working personnel in the nation. Government recognizes that safety and health of workers has a positive impact on productivity and economic as well as social development. Moreover, prevention of hazards is an integral part of economic activities to ensure high safety and health standards at workplaces, which is significant to improve business performance for new as well as existing industries. Now, regarding this safety and quality, I would like to brief you that the Institution of Engineers India is having a fora. Out of 7 foras, we have one safety and quality fora also. And I am very much impressed that the chairman of Chemical Division Board just now was deliberating, was speaking, was mentioning about the safety, hazards, etc., and chemical industries, etc. So it is my suggestion to Shilpa ji that Safety and Quality Forum, which is based at Delhi, will also to be joined with the chemical department. If you have a thrust area in chemical division, please join hands with Safety and Quality Forum by organizing various programs in various corners at separate different places in the country. So it will be very useful for the industry also and for the chemical engineers also. Safety and Quality Forum is organizing various seminars. So one of the subject of Safety Quality Forum should be the today's topic, which is environment, health and safety. So this is my suggestion to discuss with Safety and Quality Forum also. The deliberation on this issue is expected to provide us more insights and leave us enriched. I hope that the discussions during webinar will encompass all facets of the subjects holistically, involving all stakeholders. I once again congratulating the organizing secretary, Mr. Lord, also for having such type of programs in Tripura State Center. And on my personal behalf, I am thankful to the Executive Committee of State Center, particularly Devnath ji also, to give me an occasion to be here with you all. And with these few words, I will conclude my address and wish the event a grand success. Thank you. Jai Hind.
Thank you, sir, for your valuable words. Unfortunately, Engineer Vivi Singh, FIE Vice President, IEI, sir, was unable to attend today's program due to his illness. Now I would like to invite our special guest, Dr. PKP Rupa, sir, Head of the Material Science and Engineering Department, Tripura University, to address this occasion.
Respected members present on the dais, Sri Chinmay Devnath ji, Dr. Somanag ji, and the chief guest for today's evening, Professor H.K. Sharma ji, and all and the people and the dignitaries present on and off the dais. First of all, congratulations on the 32nd anniversary of IES Tripura State Center. And I think I've been actually new to this place, and I've been seeing the messages continuously. And I feel that, you know, the amount of work that actually goes on in organizing such events, you know, getting the speakers, getting the students, and organizing on a weekly basis, monthly basis, it takes a lot of effort. And, you know, my special appreciation actually to Devnath ji for continuously handling this. And to Dr. Somanag ji and Chairman of Chemical Engineering Division, Tripura State University, for having me here. And it gives me a great pleasure to be here among all of you. The topic is actually environmental health and safety. And whenever I actually see this topic, you know, the scientist in me says that, you know, I should present the data. And the person in me says that, you know, what is the use of the data? I mean, everybody knows about environment, the issues that are present. So what actually should be talked on such an occasion? The point is, you know, whenever we talk about environmental health issues, and the keyword being the environment, It is actually catching the attention of everyone today, and so much so that even you have this G7, G20 leaders are also discussing about these issues. That means this is not an issue which is no longer being discussed in the confines of academia or even industry. It has surpassed that stage to the stage where even the world leaders are actually discussing these issues. So why this is being important? I mean, why this fact is very important? It is important because it is affecting life on Earth. It is as simple as that. Everybody is getting affected. We are also getting affected, and each and every life that is actually present on this planet Earth is getting affected. And if you look at the genesis of this, these issues from where it actually started, all of this has started from the Industrial Revolution a couple of centuries back. And what is so important that suddenly it has become such a great hit? Because the Industrial Revolution has brought in a certain amount of comforts and ease of life, which mankind could only dream of. I mean, what was in the realm of fantasy and fiction was suddenly became a reality, and everybody got used to some kind of a comfort which was not otherwise not possible. And that is the main reason what the Industrial Revolution has actually brought to the mankind. Okay, and when we actually see where are we now? Okay, when we ponder on this issue and further, we see that the Industrial Revolution has brought in a certain aspirational aspect into a human being. We aspire things, and what is an aspiration today is becoming a necessity tomorrow. Okay, I mean, air conditioner was an aspiration maybe for my generation when I was young, but now air conditioner is a necessity. Okay, we cannot live without an air conditioner. A car was an aspiration. Now a car is a necessity. Flying was an aspiration. Flying is a necessity. So what we see is that day by day, what was an aspiration yesterday is becoming a necessity today. Okay, and this continuous chain is actually day by day, year after year, century after century, it's just moving forward and forward and forward. And slowly it has reached a stage where there was total disregard for the environmental from both the scientific and also the industrial community. And now it has come to a stage where the scientific, the academia, and also the industrial community have started thinking that this cannot go on. Okay, because the resources that are there at hand are very limited. We cannot just blindly be after these aspirations and comforts, this kind of a cycle. So there has to be a break. And so this thinking has actually percolated into these industries, and now suddenly we are seeing that the cars are becoming more efficient, the manufacturing process are slowly becoming more efficient, there is less wastage. So as and when the thinking is actually getting concentrated in these aspects, slowly solutions are actually coming out on different issues. Okay, so I mean, the speakers will actually give a more technical presentation. I'm looking forward to the talk by the speakers. So this is what I have to say. I have nothing more to say. So this is a cycle, vicious cycle, and I'm also a part of this cycle. So how long will it continue? Let me see. And when will this jinx be broken? I mean, at certain point of time, we should say that, okay, this is where we draw the line. We don't need more comforts. We don't need no more revolution just to increase our level of comfort. We need something else. Okay, and when that thinking also comes into the industry, the scientific community, I think that will be the time when you have a great environmental health, and all these things will actually come back to where it becomes sustainable. Okay, the optimist in me says yes, and let me see, and that day may not be very far where we can actually breathe clean air and drink clean water. Okay, thanks a lot.
Thank you, sir, for your informative words. Our chief guest, Dr. H.K. Sharma, sir, was unable to attend today's seminar by some unavoidable circumstances. Now the technical session will moderate by Dr. Mriganka Shekhar Manna, Assistant Professor, NIT Agartala. Over to you, sir.
Respected dignitaries on the dais and the dignitaries that those are connected online. All the all the engineers and audience present here, my dear students, ladies and gentlemen. I am privileged to have the opportunity to act as a moderator of this core of the program, technical session. In this technical session, we have three presenters of three different papers. All the papers are three papers that encompasses the theme of the seminar, environment, health, and safety. So all the presenters will be given 25 minutes. Okay, so we will be finished that all the presentation within that time. So I would like to invite the first presenter. Engineer Santosh Dev Burma, Senior Scientist and Assistant Professor, Faculty of Engineering Sciences, Mineral Processing Department, CSIR, Institute of Minerals and Materials Technology, Bhubaneswar. He will speak on the topic sustainable utilization of mineral and metallurgical waste, a waste to oil strategy. Welcome you, sir.
Thank you very much, Dr. Manna. In fact, very good afternoon to all of you. Respected chief guest, respected guest of honor, all the dignitaries of the dais, chairman and convener and president of IEI Tripura State Center. I put my gratitude before you for inviting me to present my work in front of the audience. Thank you very much, sir. I'll share my slide that Abhi. Yeah. Yeah, Dr. Manna, is it visible?
Yes, sir, it is visible.
Yeah, thank you very much. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Before I move to this presentation, I would like to put forward something. Why did I choose this topic, and why it is important for us to know what is going on behind the mirror. As you know that our GDP, this mining and quarry sectors, nearly 2% of GDP, this sector is providing to the government of India, especially for India's economy. So in that case, if you think we are actually mining and producing a product, but is that a really we are really get a good product, or we are getting a good product, or in fact we are also getting at the same time some wastage. So in that way, how to minimize such wastage, putting forward some solutions, sustainable solutions in front of the industry. So in for that reason, I have chosen this topic. Also, this topic is familiar with the theme of this seminars. So going to the first slide, it's not going, I think. Yeah. So before moving to the major solutions to the problem, let us have a few types of minerals that we work with in the IMT. So we have three types of classifications, mainly metallic, non-metallic, and energy minerals. So in a metallic type, we mostly deal with the iron ore and manganese ore. Manganese ore itself contains some iron ore. We also deal with the nickel, cobalt, etc. And for the non-ferrous sector, we deal with the copper, lead, tin, and bauxites. My expertise mostly is in the bauxites. I have never touched copper and lead till date. We also have expertise of extracting gold and silver. In the non-metallic sector, we have mica, potash, sulfate, granite, limestone, etc. In addition, graphite is also considered to be one of the important non-metallic classification under this non-metallic minerals. We also have energy minerals, particularly coal, petroleum, natural gases comes under this category. So at IMT, we mostly work with these minerals. We purify these minerals and we sell it to the company about technology, and they commercialize this technology whenever they require. Yeah, as you know that globally there's a shortage of ores, especially in India. If you see, Indian high-grade ores are all depleted these days, and we are left with the low-grade resources. Particularly if you see the Sugenda district of Odisha or Jharkhand Singhbhum district, you'll find that although we have some resources of coal or iron or graphite, those are extremely low-grade ores, especially the low grades containing mostly gang materials, and it's very difficult to separate those gang materials. Once upon a time, see, this company is actually hiring high pure minerals from the foreign countries and selling in India to different laboratories as a showcase. But such kind of minerals these days we cannot have in India, because we are only left with the low grade. Sometimes it is a miracle if you get, but if we even get, it will be of very, very low numbers. So coming to the main point, why we really need to be sustainable in the sector of mineral and mining divisions. See, when we mine a low grade ore, as I told you, India especially, we do not have a high grade ores. We are left with low grade ores. Over the period of time, we have expanded our minings. We have taken the auctions and then won many mining pits. But what happened is that it doesn't just acquiring a mining doesn't give you a guarantee that the particular mine is a good resources. Geological Survey of India, normally they explore the resources. They tell something in a very approximate way that this much content of minerals are present. And just because industry want to expand, they just go and get the mines during the auctions, and but they don't know actually what is happening, and do they get the high grade or low grade minerals at that particular auctioned mines. So this is very important from the perspective that when we take mines or buy mines or we participate in the auctions of the mines, we have to have some information of the particular geology and geography of the particular place. So what happens is that when we know that this is a low grade resources, despite that we go and buy the mines for the mining of the minerals. But thing is that, is it really worth? Because if we expand our minings and get the low grade minerals out of the low grade ores, it is automatically giving a insight that this is a low grade ore. Definitely we are going to get a very low amount of some expensive minerals, and at the same time we are generating waste. So this is how it works. So once the auction is done, the ore body goes through the mining process. Mining itself, because this is a low grade ore, it will generate a lot of overburden and waste. Sometimes it may happen that we have brought up mines, and then the main mineral which is available, it could available at the sea level, beyond even sea level. So we have to mine extra materials, extra soils to get that particular minerals. Those are the overburdens. So those minerals which is almost kind of very low in the mineral value, is dumped near the village or near any seashore. So that is actually very much critical to the environment. So one is the overburden and waste rock. Also, it could happen that the minerals which is present in the mine would have certain value of minerals, effective minerals, and more value of the waste rocks. So if we do selective mining, that will create more and more rock waste. Secondly, after this this mining is this mineral has been mined, there is a generation of overburdens. Now, let's say we have an overburden of nearly 60% and 40% we have the ore. Those ore has to process through a mineral processing equipments. These are some of the unit operations we use in the mineral processing, but there is no guarantee that there will not tailing. Despite since we know that this is a low grade ore, even after processing, it will certainly generate more tailings. And then whatever we are taking as a feed will further reduce, this concentrate will further reduce, and tailing will also increase. So again, there's a generation of some waste in the mining sector. Thirdly, after this concentration, after we got a mineral, say we get a iron of nearly 60%, and those iron is fed to a blast furnace, and at 1500 degrees centigrade, the blast furnace operates. That blast furnace will further generate flue gases, and then there will be some kind of flue dust and GCB sludge, and at the end we can also get some molten slags. So those slags are also a waste. So we are actually getting dust, slags, etc. And then we are getting a refined metal. Basically, so it is like in every time we are just, there's a reduction of 30% to 40% of the feed material when it comes to the product. So we are basically getting a very low minimum product. The utilization of the exit ore is very minimum. So you see the cycle, how it works. So there is a lot of waste, overburden generation, waste rock materials, tailings of the mineral equipments, and also at the same time slag and some kind of flue dust. So those has to be minimized by some way, or has to be utilized. So we at IMMT mostly work in the directions. I will not be going much into technical details, but I will show you the approach that we use at IMMT to provide solution to the industries. Next slide, please. It's not going. Yeah. Here are some overview about the overburdens, rocks, mineral basin trainings, some kind of metallurgical slags, some wastewater generated, some sludge, etc. So if you see different categories shows that there are at certain point of time different types of waste material are being generated. So these are very detrimental to the environment. So we at IMT deals with such kind of waste to make it into a valuable product or extract the value out of it. Yeah. Now, see, this is a little case study on one of the iron ore mines of the ArcelorMittal. Recently, I visited this ArcelorMittal mines. You see what happened. This mine you see here has been exploited for a period of 50 years. So when they recently in 2020 they brought this mine, it was already exploited by the many iron mining industries, and they then after a certain time when the auctions when their auctions expired, the duration of the mine lease expired, and then ArcelorMittal again they have participated in the auctions and they got this mine. Now you see this mine has already been explored over a period of time. Without knowing the fact that what this mine has, what is the value of iron ore it has contained, they simply purchase this thinking that they will get some more kind of mine under their occupation and they can produce iron. But the real fact is different. See, you can see a stack. This stack, somewhere you can see black color, somewhere you can see this rocky colors. See, maximum, if you see rocky colors are more than the black colors. The black color is nothing but the hematite, or we call it blue dust. So what they have to do, from this top to this top, from this top to this bottom, they have to mine, and then they can get some kind of black color. So this much of mining is actually a wastage for them. So they have to come from the top to this bottom, then that much of, see, you can see this kind of rock, extra unwanted rock has been generated just to get some kind of some amount of the hematite ore. You can see this is a hematite ore and the rest are the rocks. This is also a hematite ore. These hematite ores are actually not available in a free form. This is available in a kind of rocky, like we call it BHQ, banded quartz hematite. So in that way, if you see this iron ore are actually not in a liberated form, it is a closed, very compact structure. So this has to be grounded and then processed, and then we can only require those iron values. So you see, nearly India is now planning, as per the team formation of NITI Aayog, they said that nearly 300 metric tons of iron has to be produced by the end of 2024. Is it really feasible? So in order to make it feasible, government is just selling their mines to the private firms so that they can increase their product. But the real fact is different. Even though we are doing minings, we are not able to generate a good quantum of iron for the blast furnace. We are only generating the waste fines. So If you see nearly 60% of the waste we are generating, 40% is the effective iron ore out of this mines. So ArcelorMittal is basically a second largest than the Tata Steel. Tata Steel, of course, it is in India, is one of the biggest, followed by the Jindal Steel. But recently, ArcelorMittal, along with the Nippon Steel, has taken over SR Steel also and started operating in the Vizag, Visakhapatnam. At the same time, they have purchased some mine, and they are going to put a plant on the basis of our technology that IMT will give to the ArcelorMittal at the Sagasai mine. This is a Sagasai and Thagurani mines of the Nippon ArcelorMittal Nippon Steel mines. Now, this technology we have developed, of course, this technology is, see the BHQ, I just said the rocky waste material BHQ and Vsj mostly available in India. You won't find this, of course, China is one of the largest producers of the iron ore, but you won't find in China such kind of rock available. Mostly in the India, if you go to Rajasthan or you go to the Odisha or Jharkhand, you'll find such kind of BHQ and Vsj types of rock. This rock basically contains nearly 30 to 45% of Fe total and rest of the young materials. So what IMT did at our lab is that we initially tried to understand the mineralogy of this this is BHQ and how to use this particular waste and generate iron ore. So this technology we have developed at our lab, and we have transferred this technology to the FL Smith in 2020. What happened is that the BHQ, which is a iron low-grade iron ore, is mixed with some portion of non-coking coal. We also, you know, that coking coal, of course, it's very advantageous and it's emission free, and there is no generation of silica. It got low ash content, but still India do not have those coking coal. So we are having only non-coking coal, especially in the Odisha region. We have nearly around 80% of the coal which is non-coking in nature. We have in Talcher region of Odisha, which is completely oxidized and non-coking. We have tried to use those low-grade coal along with this low-grade iron ore to take out to produce a very efficient magnetic concentrate. So what happened is that when this 80% in 100%, 80% of this iron ore mixed with the 20% of non-coking coal, and we put it in a furnace. Of course we did it at a pilot scale in a rotary kiln, but this is a small schematic design of the experiment that we conducted. So when we mix this in a ratio of 80 to 20 and put it in a crucible, and the crucible is, of course, containing coal. Okay, this coal, when it subjected to a temperature of nearly 800 degrees centigrade, this coal started to release CO and CO2. This CO and CO2 is basically a reductant for this particular coal. See, it has a hematite content. Those hematite content basically at 800 degrees centigrade, when there's a release of the CO, those CO and CO2 basically converting this hematite to magnetite. When the phases conversion happens from this is a BHQ, when there's a roasting, it becomes black in colors. So this shows that this become magnetite. The color of this changes. Normally hematite is normally magnetite is somehow deep in black color. So you can identify this, and also the magnetic property enhanced. So if you subject this to a magnetic separator, this will not work in an efficient way. But if you put this, because it become magnetite, its efficiency increased, and then it can be processed to a magnetic separator. So after this product comes here, after this process, we ground it like this, and then after grinding it, we again subject it to a magnetic separation. So what happened here is most of the magnetite which get transformed into the this magnetite product will come as a concentrate, and non-magnetic will go as a reject. This is highly alumina silica rich product. So this is the iron product. Now see, we have recovered iron, but this is in fine form. This is again a challenge. Since this is a fine form, how to charge in a blast furnace? Because if you charge in a blast furnace, it needs certain gravity so that it will go and fall at the bottom. This is a fine. So when this is fine materials, so when you see a blast furnace always contains some flue gas. If you put this as a feed, this will go away with the flue gas and there will be loss. So some gravity force has to be there. So we have rather made it into a pellet. So we subjected it to pelletizations. We made this iron, fine magnetite iron ore into a pellet. So this is a green pellet. Green pellet means this pellet is not subjected to any indurations or any thermal. Now we use some inorganic binders along with this to make this. So once we make pellet like this using these pelletizers, it is indurated. Indurated means we are giving certain temperature in which this pellet will be cooked, and there will be fusions of the particle among each other. It will become more strong. The CCS value will increase. So, and then once it get into a pellet, certain CCS we get, that is actually we use for feeding to the blast furnace. So this technology we have already developed at IMT, and we have available this one at our lab. So already MOU has been signed with the FL Smith, and more work is under process, and more progressive development are being made. And then we are additionally keeping all those track of those development, and we are time to time informing the FL Smith. Now, first case was the case study was about the iron ore mining waste. So another case study will be on the bauxite. So you know that NALCO, National Aluminum Company Limited, is one of the biggest in India, producing government, in fact, government PSU, which is producing nearly 6.3 tons of bauxite ore every year. So they wanted to increase this 6.3 million tons of bauxite ore to a larger extent. But they do not also remember, like iron ore, that they have only low-grade sources in their mines. So what they are generating each and every time, equal amount of waste PLK, PKK rocks are generated at the same time when they are generating bauxite. So producing bauxite of 100% mining actually gives bauxite value of 50% and PLK, PKK value of 50%. Again, these waste rocks are accumulating over a period of time, and now Ministry of Mines has given a directive to clear out all those materials in some value. Valuation has to be done with those material, either extracting aluminum value, or maybe using this aluminum value for making some tertiary component. For example, what we tried here is that we have tried to make it a refractory, because alumina is well known for refractory making. So what we did is that at our lab, this project was funded by CSR and Utkal Alumina, a part of Hindalco. So this rock we have actually gathered from the Utkal Alumina mines of the Odisha, and we have understood, we've tried why, for what purpose this particular material can be used for. We found that the aluminum content in general, it varies from 48 to 56. Although when this content increases, automatically iron content decreases and other as well. But the critical point is that from certain point, if we pick up, this shows 56, but the other time when we pick up from the another source, it gives 45 or below. So if we mix it overall, we are basically getting a 42% of PLKK rocks containing Al2O3. This Al2O3 is basically kind of, you know, there is a phase, different phase of, you know, kind of, you know, alumina has different phase. For example, it has a kind of mullite. Mullite is basically useful for making refractories. So can we really convert it into mullite? That's what a questionable things. But we rather try to make this alumina a brick, a refractory brick, which can sustain up to 1400 degrees centigrade and can be prepared without any kill applications. For example, most of the refractories are thermal process. They nearly they make a green brick and then they cook it in a kiln. But we try to make it as a cold process. Basically, just adding some binder and some kind of additives. We are just making it, and we are exposing it to the normal atmospheric air. So it becomes hardened over a period of time. So initially, to reduce this iron value, titanium value, and some silica, we have crossed these big materials into a certain size fraction. We scrub to remove some of the unwanted gang materials, and we ground it to a size fraction below 5 millimeter, and then again we also ground it the further product to 100 micron. 100 micron then fed to the hydrocyclone. Hydrocyclone separates the ultra fine particles from the oversized particle. Oversized particle basically contains very low amount of alumina, whereas the heavy part or the underflow contains high content of the alumina. So whichever is the best way we have taken, and then we have passed through a magnetic separation process. We try to again remove the iron particle, because this iron is detrimental to the bricks. So this has to be at least below 10% in order to make it to make a bricks. So the non-magnetic product, which is having a nearly 8% of total iron, we have used this material for brick making. So what we did is that we have taken kind of 50 in a percentage of 100, we have taken around 50% of this P-calcaire rocks and 50% of the other materials. For example, we added nearly 30% of 95% silica. Silica is very cheapest. It's widely available. So 95% silica is widely available. So it's not a very costly affair. So we took 30% of the SiO2 further, and we also use some kind of gypsums, some percent maybe of 5 to 6%.
Hello.
Yes.
Excuse me.
Hello.
Mr. Santosh Dev Burma, so we are coming late. So would you like to finish within another 5 minutes?
Sure. Please.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So we have prepared these bricks out of those waste materials. You can see it's kind of the standard. It's meeting the BA standard of all the brick properties. So this is a bricks making. I'll skip this. And in another development, there was an inquiry from the Rajasthan Uranium Development Mineral Corporation Development. They earlier discarded so many waste materials of the talc. They are the only major player in the India who produce talc. They provide materials to the Johnson & Johnson and other boric powder making manufacturers. So what they came to us with a problem that they have a very kind of fine waste material or reject material of the talc mining, which has around 2% of iron. This is 2%, which is very low. In fact, those 2% also hampers this talcum brightness. So they have come with the objective to remove this gang. This G is the goethite or gang material. These are iron particles available along with the talc. Talc is basically a magnesium silicate minerals. So we have developed this technology in our laboratory. See, this is how the initial talc material looks like, and this is the final product. So this is tested and as per the standard, and the industry has already sold this product as a commercial item to the Johnson & Johnson. So this processing also generated one value-added materials, which is iron oxalate, and this is also a cellular product in the battery makings. So this is some of the facilities we use for making this, and this technology is already developed and transferred to the Uranium Mineral Development Corporation. Now, recently, another one major problem being faced by the Ultratech cement. I have visited Narmada cement mines, and the major problem they were facing is the content of mal. The rejects of the limestone has a high content of silica. Now IBM wanted to take a royalty of they claim that you have to give a more percentage of royalty because your calcium content is more. But the industry complains that we have very low grade of calcium content. We have mostly very high quality, high quantity of the silica, which is a mal. So we will not give a royalty. So there was a clash. So they approached IMT to estimate the amount of the silica and the mal content. So initially IBM took this study, but at the end they denied this to take this study because that is beyond their scope and they do not have the expertise. So we have taken this study and we have already submitted a report where we enriched the calcite value to 90%, and it is under now processing. We have submitted this report to the IBM. Yeah, another development we have made, this one in fact was sponsored by the JSW. Still, we have already patented this technology, and we have used one of the iron industry waste, which is a gas cleaning product sludge. This gas cleaning plant sludge basically contains nearly 17 to 22% of iron. So we have enriched this product to a kind of 63% using our own technology, and this technology is very cheapest we have done. We have used hydrometallurgical approach, and all this technology took place at a very ambient temperature. Normally, hydrometallurgical technology or processes works at above at least 80 degrees centigrade. So this work, all this work are done at the ambient temperature. Temperature of Odisha ranges in between 35 to 40. So we have done this experiment in a room temperature, and we have achieved very good result. This work is patented, and we have transferred this technology to the JSW. This is also one of the major problem to the ferrochrome industry. The ferrochrome industry basically they use chromite mineral ore, and they mix it with the iron to produce alloy of ferrochrome. So this ferrochrome industry generates a lot of ferrochrome slags. So those slags basically has a FeCr and Si detrimental structure, which is very difficult to separate, from which it is very difficult to separate this iron and the chromium. So one way we did it in a way that the gravity method were implemented to separate the FeCr value from the silicates, and then we have crossed this value to a final particle of 100 micron, and magnetic separation were given. So in that way, we have enriched this chromium value, and we have delivered this solution to the FECOR, which is under Vedanta group now. So lastly, this is my last slide, and this is again one of the major problem that Aditya Birla company cement industry are facing. Nearly when they process about they have two equipment, processing equipment, rotary kiln, and it has a bypass system. So when they feed some kind of feed material, around 25% of the materials are basically a dust. It goes away with the flue dust. There's a loss of 28%. So what they do is that they are basically gathering 90 to 140 tons per day of those flue dust, which is again a challenge. So they approach us, and they told us to enrich this lime product by some process. So this is the feed materials. This material we have tested through different routes. So finally, each and every time the brightness increases, and finally we got this bright. This brightness shows that how the calcium value increased from nearly like 40% to around 56%. So at the same time, the sulfate which is present in the material again reduced. We could also able to reduce silica and alumina. So almost all the detrimental, especially this chlorine and this potassium, this also reduced to below 1%. So this is a great achievement, and this work is presently under process, and we are still looking for IP, and then IP followed by the technology transfer. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Santosh Dev Burma, for a nice presentation on a very nice topic. Mainly the catchword waste to oil strategy, that is very catching. So as per the design of the program schedule, we have a discussion, that is question and answer session at the end of all the presentation. Okay, so I request Mr. Dev Burma to be connected so that you can participate in the question, in the discussion.
Sure, sir. Sure, sir.
Okay. Now may I request Dr. Satin Valadare, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University, Agartala, and he will speak on the topic bio-based and biodegradable polymers and their environmental impact. So welcome Dr. Satin Valadare for your presentation. You are not audible. The sound is not coming. Activate your microphone, I think. Microphone should be activated. Okay, sir, take your time.
Am I audible now?
Yes, now audible, but not that much clear.
I'm sorry, I have to switch off the camera because this microphone is attached to camera. So I'll share my screen now.
Okay, you can start.
Is it visible?
Okay, it is visible, but you give it in slideshow mode.
Yeah, I will do that.
Okay.
Sorry, computer is slow. So just give me a time. Okay, thank you very much, the people who are sitting there, for giving me this opportunity to talk about the plastics and their environmental impacts. Why we need bio-based plastics and biodegradable plastics, how they are going to improve the situation that we are facing nowadays, global warming, water pollution, and all those things, how those bio-based polymers and biodegradable polymers are going to have impact on these factors. So it's not a research topic, it's in general topic, and many people might know about different facts about plastics and biodegradable plastics and how their drawbacks, merits, demerits, and all those things. So I will just touch upon few of the things which I feel is very important to discuss. Those points are already being discussed for many years and still in consideration.
Excuse me, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Can you active your video on?
Sir, this microphone is attached to my camera. So
Okay.
that's why I have to hold the camera. I will come into that later on. Let me finish this.
Okay, okay, possible.
So the human evolution is basically classified by what kind of materials they have used in history. If you start from Paleolithic age to Chalcolithic age, during those period of time, what kind of materials the humankind have used, such as they have used fire, stone, then metals, then alloys. So they define their culture, in prehistoric time. So this last century and current century will be known for the plastic age. This also defines our culture, what kind of material we are using, and why we are using plastic. So as you can see here, these points, it will tell you why plastics are very important and why they are alternative to other materials. Let's take an example of metals. First of all, they are very convenient in the sense they are easy to form, they are easy to produce, they are easy to make in any shape you want, they are easy to make any size you want. So in that sense, they are very convenient. And the second point is they are very less expensive material. If you talk about ceramics and if you talk about metals also, of course, they cannot replace all the applications of metals, but they have the capability to replace some of the applications wherever it's applicable. And then third property the plastics have is they are versatile. Versatile in the sense they can we can produce them with wide range of properties. With a single polymer also you can produce the single polymer with wide range of properties. That's why and they are applicable for different in different areas, whether it's be it's biomedical, be agriculture application, transport, construction, and all those things. So one polymer can be applicable for in different fields also. But the polymers have some drawbacks. They are always, attached to climate change. They are always attached to, the petroleum based products. They are always attached to toxicity. They are always attached to persistent. So persistency means no matter how many plastics you use, after use, they will be always there in the environment. Form may be different, whether it's the big particles, small particles, or non-visible particles, but they will be always there and they will always harm your environment. So that's why the polymers are called persistent in the environment. They do not go away from the environment, and they always present in there. And that is the why we feel that plastics are main culprit for creating solid waste crisis. It's not just plastics. There are other, the materials which also form solid waste. But the plastic materials are more visible. If you see outside in the environment, they are more visible to people. So that's why we think that plastics are, the major material which are responsible for solid waste. So if we do slight improvement in waste management, it will make a big impact. And we always hear that the single-use plastics are the main materials which are creating this solid waste crisis. The reason for that is the life of those single-use plastics are less. When I say this, short life, I'm not saying that the short life of the plastics, I'm saying short life with the customers. If you take an example of these candy wraps or food wrappers, so what we do, we just eat those products and we throw those wrappers outside, sometimes on the road, sometimes in the landfill. So those plastics are very much visible because they have short life with the consumers. Whereas those durable plastics, we don't see them that much in the landfill because they have their life span is the higher than single-use plastic. That's why most of the countries or governments in the world, they are trying to ban single-use plastic because they are the one creating solid waste problems. So and because they are very much accumulated in the environment, they are catching eyes of scientists, media, governments, and public in general. The one problem that we are looking at right now, you might have heard about this microplastics. Recently, there are articles in the newspaper which talk about microparticles found in the human blood. So the impact of those microparticles with health is not known yet. What kind of impact is going to have? So it's a area of research going on, and to identify or to find out to consequences of those microparticles in human health or environmental in general. And those plastics, they do not degrade easily, and they are not designed to degrade easily because there are some applications where you need those polymers to sustain for a long time. So their designing is not in such a way that they can easily degrade. But in general, polymers are not easily degradable, irrespective of what application we are looking for. So if they are not degrading, that means if you see the diagram here, those plastics here, if you use them and you throw in the landfill or ocean or the wastewater, they degrade with the time, with the time. But degradation is a universal phenomena. It happens everywhere. where be it human body, be it construction materials, it happens everywhere. So what is mean by degradation in this aspect? Degradation means irreversible loss of properties, or those polymer the part films, they will easily break down to small particles, but those particles will remain in the field, and those and which we cannot see by naked eyes. So those microparticles will remain in there. They can easily flow into water bodies. They can easily emit some harmful gases also, especially greenhouse gases, and they can pollute the environment. How they degrade in the landfill or water bodies? Basically, they degrade by mechanical force of waves, the coming and going. Because of that, it will have an impact on their structure. UV lights can degrade them, and then the abrasive force of sediment grains. So continuously, if the force will be applied on them, eventually those polymer materials will degrade into small particles. So having said that, those plastics, so far I talked about the plastics which are made from the petroleum chemicals. So why do we need biodegradable or bio-based plastics? There are two terms people use nowadays: bio-based and biodegradable plastics, and it's very essential to differentiate between those terms. Many people know about it, but when we say biodegradable plastics, biodegradable means those plastics which can be degraded by microorganisms. And those microorganisms, they use them as a food resources and produce some byproducts, mainly carbon dioxide, methane, water, and humus. And so those all products can be used by, or byproducts can be used by environment. So and then bio-based plastics. Bio-based plastics are those plastics which can be extracted from agriculture, the plants or animals also, like chitosan can be extracted from lobsters or crabs. So those terms are different in the sense that bio-based plastics doesn't mean that those plastics are essentially biodegradable. Some biodegradable plastics are not biodegradable, but they are bio-based plastics. And this bio-based plastic will tell you, if you see this figure here, this bio-based plastic will tell you the source of your material. That means this is bio-based, but that doesn't mean that all the bio-based materials are biodegradable. To have the biodegradability, it has to have degraded by microorganisms. So there are three terms that we use nowadays, or that we encounter nowadays: degradation, biodegradation, and compost. So biodegradation can happen in many many mediums. In soil it can happen, in water, it can happen in marine also. And what is compost? And a result of that, it produces those byproducts that we already discussed about. And then we, most of the time, we hear this term composting or compost. Compost is nothing but, the separate medium along with soil, water, or marine. Which is easy to use in many facilities, especially in industries, where they can set up the composting facility to create the environment for biodegradation of plastics. So like I said, if you see this diagram, there are there are two boxes on the top and two boxes on the bottom. So these two boxes which are on the top they include the polymer which are bio-based, but it has two parts. One is non-biodegradable and biodegradable. So some of the bio-based plastics are not biodegradable, but whereas there are some bio-based plastics which are degradable. So to satisfy the biodegradability, those plastics have to meet, you know, the standards designed by the industries or you know, the organization. Otherwise you cannot call them biodegradable. Whereas there are some petroleum based polymers, if you see in bottom boxes, there are some these polymers are basically in right hand side and left hand side. In the bottom, those polymers are basically you know, the produced from petroleum source. And some of the petroleum based source polymers are biodegradable also. So it all depends on what kind of, you know, polymer you design. Such as here, if you see this PB80, which is made by you know, BASF, it's nothing but polybutylene adipate co-terephthalate. So it's a copolymer basically, and which is biodegradable in spite of, you know, made from petroleum resources. So these are the terminologies we need to understand when we see or when we talk about bio-based or biodegradable polymers. Now the question is, why bio-based polymers, if we consider some of the bio-based polymers are not biodegradable, but still they are helpful because they solve the purpose of sustainability. If you see this diagram here, where with this carbon dioxide is used for in photosynthesis by, you know, the biomass, and those biomass remains of those biomass are fossilized into fossil fuels. So the time period this biomass remains, you know, take to convert into fossil fuel, the time period is very high here, 10 to the power 6 years. Then after, once you get the fossil fuel, they convert, you convert into certain fuels, chemicals, or some of the chemicals are used to produce polymers, you know. So, and depending on the application of those materials, whether it's a fuel or chemicals, so depending on that, their you know, the life is short. If you are using fuel for you know, for thermal power plants or in vehicles, you know, you consume those fuels very fast. So after burning those fuels or consumption of those fuels, what you essentially do, you release the carbon dioxide into the environment. So you see the imbalance here in demand and supply. So the supply is very less here, you know, but the demand is very high. So the point is here, the amount of carbon dioxide is taken by biomass in a you know, in a conversion process to fossil fuel is very less than emission of carbon dioxide. And that is the reason, you know, this global warming is taking place, because the concentration of CO2 is increasing day by day, and that is you know, responsible for increase in temperature of your environment. So that is why I say, even though you know, you can make biodegradable polymers out of petroleum based chemicals, but that process is not sustainable. So what we need
Excuse
here,
me, Dr. Sachin.
yes sir,
May I request you to finish your presentation within another 5 minutes? Because
I will do that, sir. I'll do that.
Okay.
So why I say this, even though you know, the petroleum based polymers, some of the polymers you can design as biodegradable polymers, but this process is not sustainable. If you you know, rely on this process, then the problem of this global warming is about to happen, because the concentration you cannot reduce. There are many people trying to reduce the concentration of CO2 in the environment, but the best alternative here is to you know, once you use the CO2 in photosynthesis process, and you produce this biomass. So after this, this production, what you do, you directly, extract chemicals from those biomass, or there are some inherent, the polymers available in the biomass to produce the polymer or produce the biofuels or chemicals from this route. And this route can be seen as a sustainable route, because then the time period which is taking directly from biomass to polymer or chemical is shorter, definitely shorter than the time taking from biomass to fossil fuel. So this process is sustainable. That's why if it is biodegradable, it's good. But there are so many issues with the biodegradable polymers also. But bio-based materials are sustainable in this sense. So this is the biodegradation process I was talking about, where once we use the plastic, it gets fragmented into small pieces, and then microorganisms, they use those fragments as a food resource, and they convert them, or they produce byproducts, CO2, H2O, and humus. These all those the byproducts can be used further. So this is the life cycle of biodegradable polymers, where you photosynthesis, you produce agriculture, and then extract material from there, and then it goes through intermediate process, and then you make polymers, and then it goes to compost, where complete biodegradation process takes place. And then again, after compost, these bioproducts will be released, and then again you can use for photosynthesis. So this is the life cycle of biodegradable polymers. I'll just quickly go through this. For any polymer, including biodegradable polymer, your process has to be, the stable. Stability in the sense it has to sustain its value chain, whether it's from chemical extraction to life cycle. After that, it can go to the composting facility for final degradation. If something happens in between, between the life cycle, then there is a problem of, again, environmental pollution. So it has to go through complete stability to its value chain. I'll just quickly go through this. Why petroleum-based polymers are not, sustainable in the sense, because some plastics are difficult to recycle. What is mean by this? Because if you use, the plastic products for as a food container, or for any other purpose, and so what option do you have? Because it has food products into it, so they can contaminate each other with time. So it's not easy to separate those polymer products from food or any other things, or chemicals, or any other thing. So this separation is very difficult. So eventually what you do, you just throw it to landfill, or you incinerate it, and then incineration has another problem, that once you burn the plastics, then again the carbon dioxide goes into the environment, and that is responsible for your increase in temperature. Landfill is not sustainable because it requires a lot of the management, a lot of money to maintain the landfill. So it's not a sustainable process. And recycling is also not sustainable, because with each the cycle, the polymer properties will went down, or will go down. So the recycling is also a non-sustainable. That is why you can recycle it once or twice, but not many times. And this problem is a big problem. We don't notice it. Polymer, do leak into the environment. It's called littering. How does that happen? whenever we use, we don't notice it. Whenever we use water bottles or the food containers. So the particles of polymers are continuously, it's a very slow process, it's uncontrollable, but those particles will, seeping out to your material or your water or food or whatever you are using it. So you cannot control it and we don't notice it. That is why the micro particles are, the effect of micro particles is a area of research to see what kind of, the consequences that we are going to face because of those micro particles. So these are the standards which are related to biodegradability. Certification is very important as far as biodegradable products are concerned, because certification, enhances the credibility that we are making that these products are biodegradable. So certification is very important in as far as bio-based or biodegradable products are concerned. And we don't follow it here in India or in many countries, but we should do that. These are the things, this, if you see this number finished products, so this is basically, certified by biodegradable product industry, and they have numbered, those products to say that, these numbers will represent in what environment they are degradable or biodegradable. So these numbers represent those things. So this is one slide, last slide. What is the current state of, the biodegradable polymers? So most of the biodegradable polymers, that we use still, they don't go to compostable facility. We still throw them out. They still go to your, water bodies. And then eventually, the management is very difficult. So it requires, a lot of research, understanding, testing, and awareness also to, to create awareness about the product, how to use it, how to throw it, what kind of facilities are required to degrade those polymers and biodegradable polymers. So these are the awareness we need to create among people, and it is a need of the hours. So one last slide. Now we are talking about carbon footprints. With this message, I would say reduce your carbon footprint. What does that mean? It means that how much carbon dioxide that we are releasing to the atmosphere. It's very difficult to measure for individuals, but it's easy to measure for industries. Whether it's thermal power plant, because thermal power plant is one of the, the companies where these emission of carbon dioxide is higher. So when we can measure those the carbon dioxide releasing from those plants, then we can easily, reduce the carbon footprint. We can reassemble our the production lines and all those things to reduce the carbon dioxide. There are many governments in the world. They are giving incentives to those companies which are maintaining the emission of carbon dioxide. So I would say reduce your carbon footprint so that we can save the environment. So with this, I would thank you everyone. And these are all same points I already discussed. So if you have any question, I would be happy to answer them in the last. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Dr. Sachin. Obviously, we have some questions, but for the design of the program, that questions and answer that will be taken in the discussion part after all the three presentations. So I request you to be active, to be online. Thank you. Thank you for a nice presentation on a very nice topic. Now I would like to welcome Engineer Uttara Mahapatra, Research Scholar, Department of Chemical Engineering, NIT Agartala, and she will speak on her topic, application of natural rubber industry sludge towards heavy metal and dye removal from the aqueous environment. Over to Uttara.
A very good evening to one and all, respected chief guests, delegate members, and everyone present in this room. I am Uttara Mahapatra, PhD research scholar in Chemical Engineering Department at NIT Agartala. And today, the topic of my presentation is application of natural rubber industry sludge towards heavy metal and dye removal from aqueous environment. So these are my presentation outline, which I am going to discuss one by one in my upcoming slides. So starting with the introduction part, this is a natural rubber industry from where sludge is being generated. And that sludge can affect the environment either in a good way or bad way. From the first top figure, we can see it will be lethal to all the living creatures. And from second, we can transform that sludge in a good way by some or the other process for the environment. Now the pollutant which I am going to discuss is first is heavy metal, and that is hexavalent chromium. So mostly hexavalent chromium is generated from tanning, pigments and paint industry, refinery, textile, paper and pulp industry. And the World Health Organization has maximum allowed in drinking water 0.05 milligram per liter. And it is also a potential carcinogen, mutagen and teratogen. Next is the dye, that is methylene blue, which is a cationic dye, and it is released in the water through textile industry, leather industry, paper and paint industries. And it poses risk to aquatic animals, and also it causes diseases such as shock, cyanosis, jaundice, etc. in humans. So the process which I am choosing out here for transforming the sludge is adsorption, which was basically coined by Heinrich Kaiser in 1881. And it is the ability of solid manipulate pollutants from wastewater. And basically it has, in simple words, that is solid phase and liquid phase. This is adsorbent, which is the sludge, and adsorbate, that is chromium and methylene blue. And it can be operated in either in batch mode or continuous mode. So the factor which affects this process, this adsorption process, can be pollutant concentration, contact time, temperature, pH, that is charge on the particles, adsorbate concentration, particle size. And the advantages can be of this process are like it is cost efficient because it is freely available in the environment, and then it is process selective and regenerative also. You can use it a couple of times. However, with time, the regeneration efficiency will decrease. And then there is no formation of secondary pollutants from this sludge, and we can recover the metals also, and there is high efficiency in the process. So this is the diagram like how I have processed my raw sludge collected from a natural rubber industry, that is Bright Rubber Processors Private Limited, present in located in Bojjannagar, West Tripura. So I have transformed it into natural rubber chemically activated carbon, that is NRCAC. So this is the tank. First one, this first figure is the tank, effluent treatment tank from where I have collected my sludge, and then it is brought into the dryer where I have kept the sludge for 70 degrees Celsius for 2 hours. And then after drying, the sludge looks like this last figure in the crucible. Then next is that crucible's dried sludge is sieved into smaller parts to increase the surface area and mixed in 1:1 ratio with zinc chloride. After that, zinc chloride, we have stirred it for 24 hours in a stirrer, and then it is looking like this coagulated form. And after that, we dried, removed all the water content and moisture content from that zinc chloride and sludge mixture. And finally, this last figure shows how it looks. And after that, I put that crucible into a customized 4-legged reactor at 700 degrees Celsius. And this is the raw activated carbon which I have produced. After this, this activated carbon, however, contains zinc chloride. So since we have to remove that zinc chloride, I have added, treated that zinc chloride activated carbon with hydrochloric acid for 4 hours in a stirrer. And then to remove that hydrochloric acid, we have used Buchner flask and you treated with water a couple of times so that until the pH becomes neutral. And this last figure, this black one, is the final carbon, chemically activated carbon which I found. So these are the general process parameters and modeling which I am going to describe. And here the basic formulas which I've used in my research work. So firstly, studying the influence of pH. So these top one is the process conditions under which I have performed my pH experiment. That is for hexavalent chromium, for the natural rubber chemically activated carbon, dose was 3 grams per liter, and for methylene blue, it was 1 gram per liter. And this is solution volume in conical flask was 100 ml, and initial concentration was 100 milligram per liter at temperature 30 degrees Celsius, stirring speed of 150 RPM, and contact time of 24 hours. So this is a graph for hexavalent chromium, this first one orange color, for removal rate versus pH graph, where I have changed the pH from 1 to 12. So we can see in acidic pH, hexavalent chromiums, the removal rate of our hexavalent chromium is above 95%, that is at pH 2, as it can be seen from the diagram. However, it starts plummeting down to below 50% when the pH reached a basic pH. Similarly, for methylene blue, we changed the pH from 1 to 12, and the best results were shown at pH 12, that is basic pH, where the removal rate was 100, almost 100%. Next is influence of dose. So for dose, I kept it variable, that is this removal rate versus adsorbent mass, where the dose was varied from 1 to 11 gram per liter. And I found that under these process conditions, I found that for the optimum dose for hexavalent chromium was 3 gram per liter with a removal rate of 85%. And for methylene blue, it was 1 gram per liter with a removal rate of 90%. And as can be seen from the diagram, after a certain adsorbent mass, a plateau is achieved. Similarly, for initial concentration, I varied from 100 to 900 milligram per liter for both hexavalent chromium and methylene blue. And the removal rate was like for 100 milligram per liter, it was almost 95% for hexavalent chromium, and it decreases to 20 milligram per liter when the initial concentration was increased to 900 milligram per liter. Similarly, for methylene blue, it was 99%, but after when we increased the initial concentration, the removal rate was 25%. Next is contact time. So basically, this removal rate versus time plot, where we can see almost for both the hexavalent chromium and methylene blue, almost 80% of removal rate was achieved within 90 minutes. But to ensure complete adsorption, I did it for 24 hours. Next is temperature plot, where at 20, 30, 40, and 50 degrees Celsius, I have tested my chemically activated carbon. This is, I have seen that at 20 degrees Celsius, when I increase the temperature from 20 to 50 degrees Celsius, the removal rate also increased. For hexavalent chromium, it was 84 to 88%. And for methylene blue, it is 85 to 96%. Next is kinetic study, which I have done for this chemically activated carbon. For this, I have studied two models, that is pseudo first order model and pseudo second order model. So this is ln QE minus QT plot versus T. So this at an initial concentration of 100 milligram per liter, I found that the experimental was 28.32, but the model, the uptake capacity from the model was 5.86, which was way too far. And the R square was also 0.95%. And similarly for methylene blue, it was 89.69 milligram per gram. However, the model was giving 22.13 milligram per gram and R square was 0.96. So there is a huge difference. So that's why I concluded that the pseudo first order is not the best fit model. However, for while performing this pseudo second order model, I applied it and I found that the experimental was 28.32 milligram per gram and the calculators was 27.06. There is a very less difference, and moreover, R square was also above 0.99. Similar case was also seen with methylene blue, that is 89.69 experimental value and calculated was 88.68. So R square was 0.99. So it was concluded that pseudo second order is the best fit model. Now isotherm study under these process parameters, I found that for Langmuir, I performed two models, that is Langmuir and Freundlich model. But for Langmuir model, hexavalent chromium gives an experimental value of 59.48. However, from the model, it was 59.69 and R square was 0.99. So these two values were quite similar, 59.48 and 59.68. So I concluded that Langmuir is the best fit model for hexavalent chromium. And similar case was also seen with methylene blue, that is 193.15 and 194.01. There was not much difference and R square was also quite good. So conclusion was that Langmuir is the best fit model. However, that second model for isotherm, Freundlich model, from the R square, we can see that for hexavalent chromium, it was 0.98 and not so good. So that's why I concluded that Freundlich is not the best fit model. Lastly, this comparison of adsorbent. So for hexavalent chromium, when this natural rubber raw sludge was used at a dose of 10 gram per liter, the removal efficiency was only 25% and uptake capacity was 3 milligram per gram. However, when I modified that same sludge with zinc chloride at high temperature, at a dose of, and I used 3 gram per liter, the adsorption capacity increased almost 9 times and removal efficiency was 86%. And similarly for methylene blue, when normal sludge was utilized at 10 gram per liter, a removal efficiency of 68% was shown. But after chemical treatment, with only 1 gram per liter, a removal efficiency of 90% can be seen. So these are the references which I have used in preparing my slides. These are the publications which I have published so far. I thank Bright Rubber Processors, Agartala, for allowing me to collect the sludge and use for my research work. I thank my both supervisors, Dr. Ajay Kumar Manna and Dr. Abhijit Chatterjee, for always guiding me and mentoring me. I also thank Head of Department Chemical Engineering and Bioengineering of NIT Agartala for allowing me to carry forward my research work in the departmental lab. And last but not the least, I thank Dr. Shomanag ma'am for giving me this opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, Engineer Uttara Mahapatra, for giving a nice presentation and making it very short. Thank you. So we are entering to the discussion part. So I expect that three presenters are active in the online. So may I ask some question to Engineer Santosh Dev Burma? Are you there?
Yeah, yes, definitely you can ask me anything.
Okay. Okay, so I want to know from you the exact elaboration on this keyword waste to oil strategy. So actually, what strategy you are talking about? If you can elaborate on that.
Yes, definitely. I also got one question in the question answer button, that how this topic is relevant to the HSS. So see, I would say, I don't know how many of you have visited mine place or the mines of the ports. So if you go there, you will see that the people are not even, they cannot even go and play. There is no playground, there is no water bodies. It's very difficult for them to live there. So you will see always in the dusty wind and during rainfall also, you will see that their life is very messy. They cannot go out. There will be every time, flow of the dust particle throughout, and they cannot even play. They cannot have good food. Their vegetation is all destroyed. So for that, definitely this topic is actually correlatable, because if you correlate this HSS, it's basically and mostly on the environment. So how the environment of particular mine area has to be, properly managed. So my area is mostly on the management of the solid waste management of the mines, which comes as a byproduct or maybe waste material out of it. Also, the waste material coming from the industry as a byproduct, which can be used for a value additions. So in a way, we at IMMT looking forward for such problems, and we have all the facilities and also the manpower to deal with or tackle with such kind of problems.
Okay, thank you, sir. So another question to you: what the minerals and materials you handle at Bhubaneswar?
We handle different types of ores. We deal with bauxite, iron of different grades. We deal with chromite. We deal with graphite. We deal with some, not my expertise, but some of my group members, they are working in the areas of copper and tin. We do work for the platinum, gold, and we also deal where physical processing is not feasible. We are bringing out the chemical processes to extract the value. So we are in a way dealing with every type of minerals. CSIR-IMT is pioneer in dealing the minerals. We also have expertise in dealing with the materials as well, but the major vision of this institute is the minerals, followed by materials, followed by the environmental things. So we also have a small department here which deals with the water things, water treatment and all. So in a way, it's basically a cluster of facilities which can deliver solutions to all the problems of the minerals and material mining industries. Yes.
Okay, thank you, Engineer Dev Verma. Thank you very much for giving an answer to all
one more question was there. I guess, what is BHU and VSJ? Asked in the question and answer comment. So I would like to tell that BHJ and BHQ, it's almost same. Only the thing is that BHQ has a higher silica content. Silica content ranges in between 40 to 45, whereas for BHJ, iron is more, silica is less. So more or less, it is the same component, and the process is remains same for both. Because although just to classify both the rocks, we have to give a name based on this composition. So depending on the composition, we give the name. More or less, it's same. It's a rock of iron ore. That's all.
Okay, thank you. So next question to Dr. Satin Valadare. So my question is, super, I know that bio-based material molecules, they are generally biodegradable. So what makes some biomolecules, bio-based polymers, not biodegradable? So can you explain it with the structure of the biopolymers? So you are not audible. Please active your microphone. We are not audible now.
Now? Hello?
Yes.
Yes. So, see, the biodegradability has, so many factors. There are so many, whether what kind of, molecular weight you have, what kind of functional groups you have. Let's take an example of cellulose. Cellulose is a biodegradable polymer. It's a biodegradable polymer in the sense it can be degraded by enzymes, but it's not degraded by human body. If you eat cellulose in food, as it is, it comes out of excretory system from human body. But those kind of polymers can be degraded by microorganisms. So it all depends on the structure of your polymer, and those structure of your polymer is not very well defined in literatures. How much molecular weight you know, what kind of groups you know, and till what extent you can have the polymerization, degree of polymerization and all those things. So it's not a very clear idea about the molecules, but as per standard, if those polymers meet the criteria of the biodegradability, then certification comes and saying that those polymers are biodegradable. So this field is still very confusing in the sense that how to design the polymer which can be biodegradable. If I talk about petroleum based polymers. So
Okay, thank you, sir. Thank you for your answer. So now I would like to audience to ask the question to Engineer Uttara Mahapatra.
I have just one question. You have shown a graph, no, for initial dose, that if the initial dose increases, your recovery decreases. Why? But it should be opposite, no? And I also want to know that what is the condition of pH and temperature, because you are only varying the your doses at what temperature and what pH. Have you found the optimum one, or what is the optimum temperature and pH?
Thank you, sir, for your question. Your first question, that removal rate versus dose plot, that dose after a certain time, it was the graph was achieving a plateau. But before that, it was increasing. With increasing the dose, removal rate was increasing. But after a certain time, it was achieving a plateau because maybe there is no active sites remaining in the adsorbent. And your second question, pH versus yes, optimum pH. That plot. Actually, we have done it in a solution pH. We have not changed the pH. That was for chromium, it was 4, and for methylene blue, it was around 5. Temperature was 30 degrees Celsius. No, just we have considered room temperature.
So for time is running short, so we will stop the question and answer. And as a moderator, I will give a summing up of the session. So the topic of this seminar was environment, health, and safety. So 3 presentations presented here. So all cover nicely the theme of the seminar. So first presentation was about the mining sector or metal mineral sector. So this is the most polluting sector, and the sustainable utilization of mineral and metallurgical waste to oil strategy. So this is a very good idea. of a very polluting area, mining and metallurgical waste. Second topic was the bio-based and biodegradable polymers and their environmental impacts. So bio-based and biodegradable polymers, they are naturally biodegradable, but some of the polymers are not biodegradable. So environmental impact of that non-biodegradable polymers, so that is a concern. So that was discussed in the second presentation. In the third presentation, the utilization of a sludge, that is a waste of the industry, rubber industry, and that is converted to the adsorbent. So that adsorbent was used for the removal of any general contaminants from general wastewater. So all the topics over very nicely the theme of the seminar: environment, health and safety. So in terms of safety, one thing I would like to mention that we have some safety arrangements, but we do not follow it. Okay, use of the PPE, personal protective equipment, so that is administrative, and that is there. The option is there, but negligibly we do not use all the time that personal protective equipment. So it is time to follow that rules and regulations for the safety. So wastewater treatment, we have two types of system, wastewater treatment policies. One is permanent, another is the temporary. The permanent solution is the transformation of contaminants to the non-toxic materials. So that is not that much general. So general wastewater treatment that covers the separation of the toxic material. So separation of toxic materials, that are the local solution. The global solution is that conversion of that solutes, that contaminants, that obnoxious minerals to the non-toxic materials. So with this some points, I would like to conclude my summing up. So thank you all. Thank you everyone.
Thank you, Dr. Mriga Manna, sir, on moderating the technical section. Now I would request Dr. Shubhadeep Bhattacharya to deliver his vote of thanks to this occasion.
Good evening to all. I, on behalf of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, express our thanks to Dr. P.K.P. Rupa, Associate Professor and Head, Department of Material Science and Engineering, Tripura University, who is present here today and graced this seminar program on environment, health and safety as special guest. We also express our gratitude to Engineer Naveen Chandra B. Basowa, past President of the Institution of Engineers India, Professor Dr. Shilpa Tripathi, Chairman, Chemical Engineering Division Board of the Institution of Engineers India, with their kind presence. We also express gratefulness to Department of Chemical Engineering, NIT Agartala, Department of Bioengineering, NIT Agartala, and Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University, for their support towards organizing this one-day seminar on environment, health and safety in association with the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center. We also sincerely acknowledge the guidance and support received from Chemical Engineering Division Board of the Institution of Engineers India for this seminar. We are indeed thankful to our distinguished panelists, Engineer Santosh Devvarma, Senior Scientist and Assistant Professor, Faculty of Engineering Sciences, Mineral Processing Department, CSIR Institute of Minerals and Materials Technology, Bhubaneswar, Dr. Satin Valadare, Assistant Professor, Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University, and Engineer Uttara Mahapatra, Research Scholar, Department of Chemical Engineering, NIT Agartala, for their providing their valuable time for this seminar. We are also obliged to Engineer Chinmoy Devnath, Chairman, the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, Dr. Shoma Nag, Chairman, Chemical Engineering Division, the Institution of Engineers India, Tripura State Center, Dr. Vibhav Kumar Lodh, Organizing Secretary, and other eminent personalities present either physically or virtually in this one-day seminar on environment, health, and safety. Besides, we are also indebted to all other dignitaries, senior engineers, council members of the Institution of Engineers India, officials of the Institution of Engineers India headquarters, past chairmen and past honorary secretaries of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, corporate members of the Institution of Engineers India, participants from various departments, academic institutes, and stakeholders, and each and every member of the organizing committee and the office staff of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, whose active involvement and contributions have made it possible to organize this program. We also express our special thanks to Mr. Kingshung Shen, Assistant Director, the Institution of Engineers India headquarters, for his valuable support towards organizing this seminar program. I also convey my sincere thanks to Dr. Mriganko Shekhar Manna, Assistant Professor, Chemical Engineering Department, NIT Agartala, who has given his precious time for this seminar as moderator. Last but not the least, we are grateful to Engineer Oritrika Shaha, MTech student in Department of Chemical and Polymer Engineering, Tripura University, who has given her time as program coordinator for this seminar. Further, we beg to be excused for any unintended inconvenience caused during this program. Thank you all once again and convey our best wishes for Bengali New Year. Thank you. Further, I will request you all, the participants, to remain present in the hall, as we have the opportunity to have kind presence of Executive Director and Asset Manager ONGC and Director Higher Education, who will address the valedictory session to be started very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. Now we are end of the session.
So our 5-day seminar has been completed. Now within 2 to 3 minutes, we are going to start our closing ceremony. And in fact, it will be in hybrid mode. The participants will be joining in the online also. So we are taking 2 to 3 minutes time only to arrange the dais. So in our today's program, the chief guest is Engineer Tarun Malik, Executive Director, Asset Manager, ONGC Limited Tripura Asset. The special guest, Sri N.C. Sharma, the Director, Higher Education, Government of Tripura. The recommendation, all the 5 seminars of production, electrical, civil, electronics, and chemical will be presented by Engineer R.K. Mojumdar and to be sent to the headquarters for due concurrence, which will be sent to the authority concerned for due implementation. So we are going to start our closing valedictory session within 2 to 3 minutes. Till then, we would like to take some time.
Hello. The world is full of diamonds and gems, and we are having some of them here today to build this event. A very good evening to one and all present here today in the closing ceremony of the 7 days program on the celebration of 32nd Foundation Day of the Institution of Engineers, India. So finally, this is the closing ceremony, or we can say the validatory session of the celebration of 32nd Foundation Day of the Institution of Engineers, India. 7 days program has been organized by the Institution of Engineers, India. And finally, this is the closing ceremony. So firstly, I would like to welcome everyone here whose presence made our evening even more beautiful, especially our chief guest, special guest, and our chairman. So we have our chief guest, Engineer Tarun Malik, our special guest, Shri N.C. Sharma, and our chairman of Institution of Engineers, India, Engineer Chinmoy Debnath sir. So I request our chief guest, special guest, and our chairman to please come to the dais and settle down here. I would also like to welcome Engineer R.K. Majumdar sir to please come to the stage and settle down in the dais. So I would like to request Chinmoy Debnath sir for reception of dignitaries in dais. I request everyone to give a huge round of applause for our chief guest, special guest, and our guests here in this Institution of Engineers, India. So firstly, I would like to request Dr. Shubhadeep Bhattacharya, FIE, Honorary Secretary, IEI Tripura State Center, to give the welcome address.
Good evening to all. The Institution of Engineers India, or IEI, is the national organization of the engineers in India and statutory body established in 1920 to promote the general advancement of engineering and engineering science and their application in India. Subsequently, the Institution of Engineers India was incorporated by Royal Charter on 1935 and remains the only professional body in India to be accorded this honor. It is the largest multidisciplinary professional body of engineers and serving the nation for more than last 100 years. It is worth to mention that Tripura State Center, as well as previously Agartala Local Center of the Institution of Engineers India, has been sustaining the legacy since its inception on 1st April 1989 in our state to materialize the basic objects and purposes for which the Institution of Engineers India was constituted. It is a matter of pleasure that we are observing the 32nd Foundation Day of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center through a week-long event, and today is the valedictory session of the 32nd Foundation Day celebration program. At the outset of this valedictory session, on behalf of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, I welcome Engineer Tarun Malik, Executive Director and Asset Manager, Oil and Natural Gas Corporation Limited, Tripura Asset, who has given his valuable time and is kind enough to grace this session as chief guest, and he will be arriving very shortly. Today, we have also with us Sri N.C. Sharma, Director, Higher Education, Government of Tripura, as special guest, and Engineer Chinmoy Debnath, Chairman, the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, who will preside over the program. We have also kind presence of Engineer R.K. Majumdar, Chairman, Technical Committee, and past Chairman of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center. On behalf of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, I warmly welcome you all in the valedictory session of this Foundation Day program. I also cordially welcome all other dignitaries, our past chairmen and past honorary secretaries, respected corporate members of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, engineers, and participants of this valedictory program. Further, it is my privilege to inform you that the week-long celebration program of the 32nd Foundation Day of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center was scheduled with organizing 5 numbers of one-day seminar on the topics, namely quality control in civil construction, power converters and drives for electrical vehicles, advances in production engineering, recent trends in Internet of Things, and environment, health, and safety under the guidance of civil, electrical, production, electronics and telecommunication, and chemical engineering division boards of the Institution of Engineers India respectively, where panelists from renowned academia and industry have participated. We believe that their expert opinions, presentations, and deliberations on the themes will certainly make our efforts and seminar purposeful. With the kind presence of ONGC officials, it is a privilege for me to inform you that the long waiting issue of the lift installation in our building is on the verge of completion with the support of ONGC. Hopefully, we may be able to inaugurate the operation of the lift in our next program with ONGC on 17th April. Before end of my welcome address, I, on behalf of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, convey warm greetings of Bengali New Year to all the participants and welcome you all once again in this valedictory session of the 32nd Foundation Day celebration program. Thank you all.
Hello. I once again welcome our chief guest here with us, Engineer Tarun Malik, Executive Director, Asset Manager, ONGC Limited, Tripura. Now I request Engineer Chinmay Debnath sir to present the mementos to our dignitaries. I request everyone to give a huge round of applause for our chief guest, special guests who are present with us. Now I request our special guest, Shri MC Sharma, Director, Higher Education, Government of Tripura, to give a speech.
Namaskar. Very good afternoon to all. Respected Asset Manager, ONGC, our Chief Guest, and respected Chairman of Institution of Engineers, and respected Ranjit Rai sir, and all the respected faculties, members of this organization who are in front of me and online also. I am very much privileged that I have been invited here to say something in front of the dignitaries who are experts in their own fields in the engineering science. So far I understand that the research work is the base of science, base of development, base of improvement. So this institution, so far I know, is engaged in the research work also in the field of engineering science and other aspects also. They are also associated with the social works in different fields wherever it is necessary, needed. So I think now this organization is a full young organization with 32 years of age. And all the youths are associated with here. No bar of age and anything, all are youths. And I think this organization will go forward with basic research work, because so far I feel that this is limited in our state. And if it is done with full-fledged manner, then the development, then it will be implemented in the development of our state. Yes, that is the fact that there is the financial limitation of any organization. Wherever this organization is working, this institution of engineers is also one of them. So there are many kind of CSR funds with the big organizations who are working throughout the country and especially in Tripura. My sir, asset manager ONGC is here. So I, on the behalf of Higher Education Department, I will request you to do something for the institution of engineers who are tirelessly working for the development of in the state. So since the CSR fund is now given not directly to the government, it is going to the societies, and it is a society, that means organization. So this will be easier to help. There are other organizations who are working in the state. We may approach to that organizations, institutions for the financial, that is assistance, so that this good number of works can be done by this institution. For your kind information, I am to inform you that the Higher Education Department is also working. We are recently have already we have planned to introduce drone, that is club, in the TIT. Already state government has approved 5 crore rupees for this. So drone related all other activities will be exercised there, will be taught there with the involvement of others. So this is one thing. And in the technical education, we are also working, and we have planned some other works, and we also have got some suggestions from the Institution of Engineers, and we are going to implement these suggestions very shortly. So I have limited time. I am to go to our secretariat now. So that's why I requested to give my time now. And thank you all. I will be coming now and then, and I am one of your one of your well-wisher, and one of, you may think that one of the members, that is, I will be working with you. So thank you all. Thank you all of you. Thank you. Okay, that's I will do. I am giving words, I will be doing this, and I will extend my, that is, all kind of help, whichever I can do. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your special words. It was very nice having you with us here today. Now I request Engineer R.K. Majumdar, FIE Chairman, Technical Committee and past Chairman IEI Tripura State Center, for the presentation of recommendation of the one-day seminars of 5 engineering divisions.
Namaskar, good evening to all. Respected chief guest of this valedictory session, Engineer Torun Malik, Asset Manager ONGC. Respected special guest, NC Sharma, Director Higher Education. Due to urgent meeting in the Secretariat, he has just left. Respected Chairman of the Institution of Engineers Tripura State Center, Engineer Chinmoy Devnath. Respected Honorary Secretary Dr. Shubhodip Bhattacharya, all past chairman, past honorary secretary, corporate members, distinguished guests, faculties. We have completed 7 days program in the occasion of the 32nd Foundation Day being observed by the Institution of Engineers Tripura State Center. And in this context, the center had decided to organize 5 one-day seminars in the different engineering division. And we are extremely happy and grateful to the technical wing of the Institution of Engineers headquarters, and particularly the chairman of the different division board. Say for the Civil Engineering Division Board, Chairman M. Nagaraja, Electrical Engineering Division Board, Professor Dr. Sudhir Kumar Kalla, Production Engineering Division, Dr. Sriram Satyanarayana, Electronics and Telecommunication Engineering Division Board, Dr. Girish Sikeshan Mundada, and Chemical Engineering Division Board, Professor Dr. Shilpa Tripathi. So just now, 1 hour back, we have completed our this Chemical Engineering Division program, and we have drafted the outcome of the 5 days discussion, whatever held, and from the presentations made by the eminent speakers, and also the interactions made during the program. I am just reading, this is not the final. We have drafted it very silent features. We'll send it to our headquarters. That will be approved, and only after that we'll send it for the implementation by the different concerned authorities. First seminar was held on 2nd April. It was on the quality control in civil engineering construction, and the point that we have noted are, based on the findings on research and studies, the codes of practice should be updated at an interval to cater the requirement in the era of innovation on new materials and technology. The emphasis should be given to the use of the innovative materials in construction technology after successful run of pilot projects. Planning standards of specifications, multi-layer monitoring system, etc. should be placed in contract document for quality assurance of infrastructure projects. Project-based field level laboratories should be encouraged. To ensure quality, the factors wise personnel, materials, equipments, and workmanship should be given as priorities. Adequate time should be allowed to the designers for quality assurance plan of the projects. Proper training with certification of the workers engaged in the projects should be dealt with priority as mandatory requirements. The expert speaker in this Civil Engineering Division program were C.H. Kumar, who is the Managing Director of S.K. Sharma Engineering Consultant, Dr. Indish Kumar Pataria, who is the Director Projects 3 and Chief Quality Coordinator of the National Rural Infrastructure Development Authority, Ministry of Rural Development, Government of India, Professor Simon Bhattacharya, who is the Vice Chancellor of the Shiv Nazar University, Chennai, and also Professor of IIT Kharagpur, and Engineer R.K. Majumdar. The second day program was on by the Electrical Engineering Division, and the panelists in this seminar were Dr. Ranjan Kumar Bera, who is a professor of the IIT Patna, and Dr. Oshim Datta, who is the Associate Professor of the Tezpur University Department of Electrical Engineering, Dr. Tirtharaj Sen, who is the Principal of the Women's Polytechnics of Tripura. And the points we have noted are, as the conventional fossil fuel are exhausting day by day, we need to think for alternative sustainable technologies today in today's world. In purview of the seminar and the deliberations by the panelists, it seems that in the transportation sector, we need to expand more in the high power converters for electric traction for public and private vehicles, starting from two-wheelers to three-wheelers and in industrial application also. For successful implementation of electric vehicle on road, we need to explore more on the different types of the electric vehicle, hybrid electric vehicle, different power converters, their efficiency, durability, EMI interferences, and safety, battery management system, and other challenges like installation of charging stations at different locations, starting from home to level 1, level 2, and fast charging units with adequate number of the stations. These are the points we have noted in the seminar of the Electrical Engineering Division, who was mainly on power converters and drivers for the electrical vehicles. The third day seminar was conducted in our here by the mechanical and production engineering, and the topic was advances in production engineering. 3 presentations are made by the eminent speaker like Mr. Sandeep Kumar Ghosh, who is the Deputy General Manager of the Tata Motors Limited, and other was from Dr. Saurabh Datta, who is the Associate Professor of the Department of the Mechanical Engineering, NIT Raurkela, and the third was by Dr. John Debbarma, who is the Associate Professor of the NIT Agartala. 3 points we have noted. These are: engineering, research, and development is the most important element for technology improvement in the production of different kinds of the vehicles in India to make this industry sector at par with the world-class standard and quality. The second point we have noted that negative Poisson's ratio is most auxetic cellular materials refers to the effective Poisson's ratio. In some circumstances, the negative Poisson's ratio improves mechanical qualities for use in engineering, medicine, fashion, and sports. Auxetic materials have improved shear performance, and this may be used in the flexible padding in sports to provide additional protection and minimize the intensity of impact for specific human body, particularly elbow, leg, and torso, etc. The third point we have noted is friction stir welding utilizing a newly created self-heated FSW tool may be very much useful in the industrial sector, as the use of lightweight materials are continuously expanding to suit the need for lighter technical products. So these are the recommendations of this third day seminar. On the fourth day, the topic was recent trends in Internet of Things. The points we have noted are the concept emerged during the seminar that development of Atmanirbhar IoT devices is a matter of appreciation to be continued in upcoming sessions, and in-house IoT expertise to be promoted for development in the sector of usable IoT. More awareness campaign in the usable IoT field is to be initiated in the form of such kind of the seminar or workshop. The last seminar was on environment, health and safety, and it was by the Chemical Engineering Division of the Institution of Engineers. The point we have noted are based on the requirements for the development of new methods and strategy in chemical, metallurgical and mining industries should be taken care in the coming era. Proper planning and safety practices must be strictly enforced daily basis for quality and safety assurance for protection of health. The complaint from the society around the chemical, metallurgical and mining industries against the pollution and hazardous chemical exposure should be readily accepted and addressed with responsibility and accountability. The monitoring of work permit system and the use of personal protective equipment should be encouraged to ensure safety and healthcare of the engineers and workers. Proper training and certification of the workers engaged in industries and newcomers to the industry should be arranged and updated time to time. These are some of the points which we could note during this 5 days technical seminar. This will be sent to our headquarters, and after approval, this will be sent to different authorities for necessary action. With this, I conclude. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir, for your beautiful presentation. Now I request Engineer Tarun Malik, Executive Director, Asset Manager, ONGC Limited, Tripura Asset, to give the speech.
Engineer Chinmay Devnath, Chairman, Engineer R.K. Majumdar, Chairman Technical Committee, Dr. Shubhadeep Bhattacharya, Honorary Secretary, Institute of Engineers, India, Tripura State Center, other dignitaries of the dais, members of Institute of Engineers, students, faculty members, ladies and gentlemen, a very good evening to all of you. Let me first congratulate Institute of Engineers Tripura on their 32nd Foundation Day. Lot of technical presentations have been done in last few days, as informed by Engineer Majumdar, and I think very relevant and pertinent topics were discussed, and recommendations are being forwarded to Hyderabad, and after approval they will be circulated for further action by concerned agencies, engineers, and I think this will be a very helpful effort to bring about more awareness and concerted action towards the contribution of engineers for development of the society. It is my immense privilege to be part of these celebrations of the 32nd Foundation Day. And I once again congratulate for the amazing work that has been done over the years. And I think they will continue to set a template to others. Just now, Chairman Saab told me that now Tripura State Center is ranking among all over India at the number 3. It is a big achievement and deserves a big round of applause from everyone. Yeah. I've been in Tripura since last 2 years, and needless to say, Tripura is endowed with a lot of natural resources and pristine beauty. ONGC has a 6-decade-old relationship with this beautiful state. So naturally, when I was asked to take up the assignment of asset manager in Tripura, so Tripura is really very highly desired posting among all the ONGCians, because everyone has to, once or twice during their careers, they have to come to the Northeast posting. And Assam itself, which was one of the initial finds of the oil industry in India. Though in ONGC, our first find was in Ankleshwar, but Assam in India has been the right kind of the starting point of oil industry in India. So being a part of the oil industry in Northeast part is a matter of great pride for any ONGCian. And Tripura is also, you know, along with Assam, Tripura is also equally sought after posting by our ONGC colleagues. I can safely say, without any bias, that the youth of Tripura is extremely illustrious, smart, and hardworking. Our ONGC itself has a lot many engineers and other workers who belong to Tripura, and they have earned very good name in ONGC. And then there is no reason why startups and enterprises from Tripura cannot be world leaders. It is my personal observation that with mentorship and skilling, a revolution of sorts can be achieved. And since I have brought this word revolution, I would state that the industrial revolutions are never-ending stories which are happening with the human civilization. And today, we have already finished 3 industrial revolutions, and we are looking at the 4th industrial revolution. And it is almost at our doorstep. This 4th industrial revolution is focusing on digital manufacturing and digitalization of all the industrial development, as well as all the processes, all the business processes. I believe that it is a golden opportunity for the young engineers in this part of the world to ride this bus. I may again reiterate that this bus will not wait unless we make an effort to get on this bus immediately. So time and opportunity waits for no one. Institute of Engineers, Tripura State, I see all our engineers who are involved with this. They are working day and night to bring the awareness among our local industry, local youth. And I think it is the prime responsibility of all the engineers to help Tripura State grow by catching up with the developments which are taking place, which are now becoming real by the name of Industrial Revolution 4. There needs to be changes in the methodology of imparting engineering education, without which there will be no trained manpower to run the future industries. A lot of technological development is taking place, like in one of the technical sessions, in Internet of Things, artificial intelligence. So that's why I said initially that many relevant topics have been taken up. The COVID-19 pandemic has accelerated this process of 4th industrial revolution, as people throughout the world have been compelled to use these technologies without much hindrance due to circumstances. Keeping up with the changing times is neither a new issue nor a new debate for the scientific community, and its reform is now snowballing into a global crisis. As the world begins to confront such various issues such as depletion of natural resources, global warming and climate change, decaying of infrastructure security, natural disasters, etc. And as these are all related to one-sided growth of human civilization, it has become necessary to reverse these disaster-related activities if we want to provide a better future for our future generations. With challenges opportunities also come. I would request Institute of Engineers Tripura Study Center to kindly consider mentorship of the young engineers in such a way that they can provide a solution to these challenges on a commercial scale. And when we are talking about these challenges this year, especially last year in 21 and maybe in early part of 22, it has been very strongly established that these natural disasters which have occurred in the most modern developing countries of the world. Earlier, we used to hear in Africa, in India, in remote areas, lakhs of crores are every year being lost in the floods. And again, within India, lot many areas are there which need help due to drought. And same thing is happening to underdeveloped countries. But now this year, most of the US and European countries, they were under the flood. Their cities, which used to be pride of their own country, the whole world used to visit them. So these countries, these modern cities were also facing a lot of problem because of flooding and because of some other issues. So this shows that this problem is real and we need to take action right now to counter the ill effects of these climate changes. And our engineering community is the one which can help the whole world in, meeting all these challenges. Solution on paper has no meaning if it is not implemented on ground. So your center can play a great role in inculcating that attitude among engineers to pursue their ideas till it is implemented in the scale. Time is changing at a rapid pace. I am seeing that self in my own company. Owing to COVID-19 pandemic, our company had to initiate a series of systematic changes to be resilient in the energy sector. Resilience is the name of the game and it is fueled by the right attitude. This is the best time to prepare our young engineers for enhancing their skills. Engineers need to broaden their skill sets and have a curious mind and an ever-learning attitude if they have to become leaders in the business and public policy making organizations. New technologies like artificial intelligence, virtual and augmented reality, Internet of Things, data sciences, 3D printing, additive manufacturing, blockchain technology, robotics, automation, and cybersecurity are becoming more and more prevalent. Engineers of today need to be aware about such kind of latest developments also. But there is another important point that like internet today is available not to whole of India. If we talk in terms of percentage, even now the reach of internet, if we talk about whole India, maybe even less than 50% or maybe around 30 to 40%. Still, we have got lot many areas spread all over India, which are still people, poor people, or people with lack of education, people with lack of opportunities. They are still, having old ways. Their awareness level is less, and that leads to unequal distribution of the progress which is being made in our country. And every now and then we keep hearing that despite all the progress being made, there are agitations, there are allegations that only some strata of the society, only they are getting the benefit of all the progress. So here I would like to say that even after this 25, 30 years, internet is there since 20, 30 years, and still the reach is not very less as compared to the developed countries. So our engineers have to make a balancing act. We have to keep ourselves aware of all these things which I just now read out, Internet of Things, virtual and augmented reality. So at the big business scale, at the macro level of running all of the organization, big organization, all these things are very much important to compete with the world, to be able to, export to the world, to be able to import new technology from the world and implement in our India, to get the technology for making India Atmanirbhar in manufacturing. So these all big things are also required. But apart from that, be able to adjust our skill sets, our processes, our policies, our rules and regulations, that we take care of the people who are yet deprived. They cannot be expected to be getting all the benefits of all these new technologies. They are not expected to be a part of, giving their whole to the growth of all this. This has to be done by our leaders, our engineers, our people who are already above a minimum class. So they have to have both kind of mindset to also get all these new technologies for overall benefit. And with the help of this, whatever small scale useful technologies, simple technologies, so that they can be passed on for the benefit of each and everyone, so that all people get the benefit of this improvement which is taking place, this advancement which is coming. So all these things have to be learned, and out of that we have to come out with those solutions, those products, those technologies which are simple in nature, which are easy to use, which are easy to understand. So just running after the new technology alone is not sufficient in India, because we have got a wide diversity. So we have to imbibe this new technology and come out with solutions which can be easily availed by our poorer citizens, our weaker part of citizens, and slowly then they can also progress, and they can also increase their level of their lives and their standards. To become employable or to be an employer in this new era, apart from the normal engineering temperament, these additional skills coupled with the cognitive skills and innovation is very important. Induction and implementation of technology is a precursor of development of our human society. Hence, the engineers of today also have an additional role, so that all sections and strata of our society gainfully benefit from the advancements of science and technology. I have seen myself that there is no dearth of talent and temperament in the engineers of Tripura, as I have said earlier also. I am extremely confident that Institute of Engineers Tripura State Center will continue to do this amazing work and continue to motivate and mentor the engineers of Tripura to be world leaders. Thank you very much for giving me time to speak here. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir, for your special words. Now I request Engineer Chinmoy Devnath, sir, FIE Chairman, IEI Tripura State Center, to give the presidential address.
Good evening. Respected chief guest of today's valedictory session, Engineer Tarun Malik ji, the Executive Director, Asset Manager of ONGC Limited Tripura Asset. Engineer R.K. Majumdar, our past chairman and also chairman technical committee, who presented the recommendation of the seminar. Our honorary secretary, Dr. Shubhodhi Bhattacharya, the officials, engineers of various departments, faculty members of Technical Institute, the principal of Polytechnic Institute, our corporate members, invitees, engineering students. The 7 days program is now in concluding stage. We have started the program in connection with the celebration of 32nd Foundation Day on 1st April morning by flag hoisting, and in the evening the inaugural ceremony, which was graced by the Vice Chancellor of MBB University along with General Manager NABARD. And there was a keynote address on agriculture, agri-engineering. And then 5 days there was a technical seminar, as we have seen from the recommendation of Engineer R.K. Majumdar. The experts from various parts of the country, out of 3 or 4 presentations every day, at least 2 or 3 were from outside state, from the faculties or practicing engineers, another one from our state, the civil, electrical, production, electronics, and then today chemical. In between, there was a general discussion on 3rd April when our members took part in the discussion in regards to the activity of the Institution of Engineers, as well the developmental activities in the state. And in the evening, family get together come cultural function. And today we are in the concluding stage. There is a validity session after the 7 days program. As we have heard that in this program, there was some recommendation. In the draft stage, it has been placed by our first chairman and technical committee chairman, R.K. Majumdar. It will be sent to the headquarters to be processed to the concerned division board, and then they will scrutiny the matter and will place to the headquarters, the highest authority, that is CATE, and then it will be finalized. And after that, we shall process this thing to the concerned authority for due implementation. This is the process. Though we are organizing here in Agartala, but we cannot finalize the recommendation. And total, the 5 days program was monitored by the technical department of our headquarters. As we have seen, many experts from the country took part in the discussion. There was a good interaction in this hybrid mode from the online also. Besides this presentation by the experts, we are really happy to have the kind presence of the highest authority of our Institution of Engineers, India. In civil program on 2nd, our immediate past President Engineer Narendra Singh and CATE Chairman Dr. G. Ranganath were present, along with the Civil Division Board Chairman Engineer M. Nagraj. On electrical program, Engineer Shishir Kumar Banerjee, our past President, along with our President of Institute of Engineers, Dr. Hemanto Thakre, were present, along with the Chairman of Electrical Division Board, Mr. Sudhir Kalla. And in our hall, as chief guest, Mr. Mahananda Daburma, DG of TREDA, was present. On Production Engineering Division program, MD TNGC Limited and GM Gale were present in our hall, whereas Mr. T.M. Gunaraja, first President of Institution of Engineers, and CATE Chairman Engineer G. Ranganath were present, along with Dr. Satyanarayana, who is Chairman of Production Engineering Division Board. On yesterday Electronics Engineering Division program, Deputy Director General of NIC, Government of India, Agartala, were present here in this hall, along with Mr. Ashok Basha, our past President, who is also Honorary Executive Vice President of World Federation of Engineering Organization, was present, along with Dr. G.S. Mundada, the Chairman of Electronics Division. And today, in the Chemical Division program, the Engineer Naveen Chandra Baswa, who is our past President and Executive Council member of World Federation of Engineering Organization, was present, along with Professor Shilpa Tripathi, who is the Chairman of Chemical Engineering Division. Why I mention this thing, that headquarters also has given much importance on this 7 days program. As actually I was briefing to our chief guest today, we are really happy to have this information from the headquarters. During last council meeting in Hyderabad, we have seen that out of 125 centers, so far the technical activity is concerned, our center's position is 3rd. Though in 2017, we got the best center activity award amongst the C category, that is below 1250 member strength. But now some centers have 18,000, some centers have 16,000 members also. Out of 125 centers, including 32 state centers, our position is 3rd one. And that's why every past president or president mentioned in their deliberation, Tripura state is small, but now we are considering that Tripura state center is big. So this is the feeling of headquarters, and it is possible only as we are getting support from the corporate members, above all the well-wishers like Tarun Malik ji from ONGC Limited. Though we know that ONGC Limited has big contribution of the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center, right from its beginning of this construction as well as beginning of the activity, when we had our 1989 ad hoc shape or first formation, the chairman was Mr. Madhavan, the chief engineer of ONGC. And in between, when we were continuing our activity in a rented house only, 1 room or 2 room, at that moment, the ONGC authority came forward after getting this information that we are doing a lot of technical activity. When even we sent a delegation to the Bangladesh to see the viability of this gas production there in their country, with the representation of 2 delegates from ONGC Limited. Engineer P.K. Adak was the head of organization there, and that time ONGC took one accommodation in the city itself, in a big hall, and it was given to us to continue our activity as office. And that was the beginning, and due to this only it was possible for our center to continue our lot of technical activity, including the Bangladesh, and now we have come to this position. So I sincerely thank the ONGC Limited as a whole. Obviously, today our chief guest, Tarun Malik ji, is present here. Just for our corporate members and others, I would like to mention here that as and when we are sitting with Tarun Malik ji, he was sharing everything as he is feeling that a person of Institution of Engineers. I can just recall that day, 20th March of 2019, when he came first time to the Institute of Engineers building. We arranged this felicitation as per our system, and on that day he got some information, and subsequently when we met detailing everything, we are really pleased to have this good interaction, and subsequently we had a long discussion in many occasions, and we have seen that he is always coming forward to cooperate us so that we continue our activity in every aspect. And in connection with our infrastructure also, we actually, I don't know how our director higher education has approached this ONGC Limited. Maybe he is feeling that if ONGC is coming forward, then institutions can do something. But already from ONGC side, under the intervention of our Tarun Malik ji, the one proposal has been initiated for our that is top floor. But due to this, there is a technical problem from the ministry. It is now pending, though we have heard the last month it has been cleared by our institution headquarters to be sent to the ministry, and after that we may pursue again. So in regards to our technical activity and other matters, we are getting so much of support from the ONGC Limited. Even today, he told that he was stuck up for other activity, but in spite of this, he could manage time to visit Institution of Engineers. So on behalf of all the corporate members and the persons who are present here, I would like to convey special thanks to Engineer Tarun Malik ji, and I hope the Institution of Engineers will proceed very actively as he suggested in regards to various aspects. We may work in this regard, and obviously with his suggestion and advice, we can do something. During these 32 years, our special concern was about the development of our state. As and when we are organizing joint venture program with other state center, other country also, Nepal, Bangladesh, our concern is that we may support our government when we had organized SARC seminar or other thing. The only thing is that as it is a small state, we may support the government with the involvement of the engineers of the country, maybe from abroad, to support the government in regards to technical activity and technical input also. I am just repeating again that this Palatana project or surplus power transmission to Bangladesh, the institute has catered the matter, and this is the ultimate position. So in this way, we are interested to work, and very recently, on request of Public Works Department, Government of Tripura, the Institution of Engineers India Tripura State Center is involved in regards to strengthening of building. Though there is some that is problem in regards to our system of Institution of Engineers, and the PWD is also interested to give this to the Institution of Engineers. So subsequently, we had a talk with our Engineering Staff College of India in Hyderabad, and this total project has been given to Engineering Staff College of India, but it will be coordinated by our center. So in this way, we are supporting the government various department to continue these developmental works also. So this 7 days program is completed, and just now we are thinking, we had an interaction as we have completed this All India seminar successfully, as also viewed by our that authority person from outside state. We are thinking to organize the All India seminar again in hybrid mode, involving the technical institute like TIT, ICFI, Tripura University, NIT, Techno College of Engineering in future days. And in this way, we may involve the technical institute also in regards to the technical activity. So I once again convey special thanks to our chief guest of today's program, Tarun Malik ji. And today, the Higher Education Director, Sri N.C. Sharma, was present as a special guest. In fact, he has some soft corner for our institute as he came to the validity session of Mechanical Engineering National Convention also, and he is supporting us in regards to various activity in various way. Today, when he was just moving to our institute, he got a call from minister that he is to go to secretary at that particular moment to attend one urgent meeting. But I told him that as you are moving through this way, please come to the Institute of Engineers building and give your deliberation and can move to secretariat. And he came to the building, and that's why we have started prior to arrival of Tarun Malik ji. I beg excuse in this regard due to this change situation. I convey special thanks to our Director Higher Education. Today's recommendation has been placed by our first chairman, Engineer R.K. Majumdar. Though he is our corporate member, he is doing everything, but the way he is supporting in every aspect, not only the technical program, but also in the construction activity, in training program, I can say he is giving full time throughout the morning, from morning to night for this institution of engineers. And particularly I can say due to this Engineer R.K. Majumdar, though all are supporting, but due to this special involvement by Engineer R.K. Majumdar and Engineer M.S. Roy, the retired Chief Engineer Civil of ONGC, it is possible for us to continue all the technical activity throughout the year, as we have started around 72 programs throughout the year. Besides, we are organizing many more technical activity also. I convey special thanks to the official from ONGC Limited, the faculty, engineers from various department, the principal of Polytechnic Institute, Women's Polytechnic, Gumti Polytechnic and TTDC Polytechnic, the engineering students and corporate members, and our senior members for your kind presence in this program, validity session. And I hope in future days, this center can work properly for the cause of our development in our state. And recently, as you know, that corporate members strength, that is degree engineers can take the membership of corporate membership. Recently, the headquarters has taken decision that diploma engineers can also take membership in the non-corporate sector. And we had a meeting with the diploma engineers here so that they can take the membership and we can work together in a bigger way. In regards to our future activity, as I mentioned that always we are doing a lot of technical activity with ONGC Limited. Actually, regarding that International Energy Day, we approached ONGC Limited to do the joint program on 6th May. But due to their special program from 11th to 30th April in regards to awareness program, it has been scheduled on 19th April at ONGC Limited at 11 a.m. The ONGC Limited will organize this program along with the Institution of Engineers India in technical meet in industrial sector. So in this way, we are doing joint program with ONGC, and very special information. Engineer Shima Shah is present here, our chairman of Women Engineers Forum of Institute of Engineers India. The persons who were who had attended the program in the institution of Bangladesh, they have seen that in Bangladesh, the lady engineers or ladies are very, very active. Even in some occasion, we have seen they are coordinating all the program, involving the ministry also. So we learned many things, and we then have set up this ladies forum and women engineers forum so that they can strengthen this institution of engineers activity. And we have seen in many occasions when we have been invited to attend program in ONGC, the ONGC Women Development Forum, they are doing lot of works in the field of this technology, and the Mahila Samiti, they are doing lot of works in the social sector. So we had requested the asset manager to arrange one program along with them so that our women engineers, our ladies forum members can get some input from them to do their best, by which the Institute of Engineers India Tripura State Center will be an active one. And I am really happy to get this clearance from asset manager of ONGC, Tarun Malik ji, so that we can organize one program on 17th April in connection with additional program of International Women's Day. There will be two programs. One program interaction between our Women Engineers Forum and their Women Development Forum, followed by one open session, and another one our Ladies Forum and Mahila Samiti of ONGC, along with open session in which the chairperson of Women Commission and MLA Mimi Majumdar will be present. Actually, we have invited our Social Welfare Minister also, but she will not be in the station. And I am really, I shall be very much happy if Tarun Malik ji is present in that program, as because his presence will make this program a fruitful one to move our future journey involving the Women Engineer Forum, Women Development Forum, Ladies Forum, and Mahila Samiti. So with this, I once again convey thanks all of you, and hopefully on 17th April, when we shall be organizing this program jointly with the ONGC, Women Development Forum, and Mahila Samiti, we may inaugurate our lift, which is a last 2 years we are working there, and obviously it is our decision that it should be by the hand of our today's chief guest, that is asset manager of ONGC. The lift will be inaugurated on getting his clearance. So with this, I once again convey thanks to all of you for your kind presence, with a hope that in future days, this Tripura State Center will go ahead to do its best so that the persons who are in state, persons who are in the country can recognize our contribution. Thank you very much. Good night.
So finally, we have came to this end in this valedictory session of 7 days program on the celebration of 32nd Foundation Day of Institution of Engineers India. Thank you to each and everyone who gave their presence today, and special thanks to our chief guest and special guest who came here and gave their presence and made our evening even more great. Thank you so much. Each and everyone can take their refreshment now.